Hello, everyone. This is Kev. This is Black Men Being Brutally Honest, and we're just about to get this party started here. Tonight's topic is going to be on accountability. Now, I want everyone to keep in mind that every time you hear this word accountability, it doesn't have to necessarily mean that it has to be a black relationship conversation. But you know, what I also want to do tonight is to discuss the context the word is often used in. And, the goal is to have as many productive conversations as possible within a within a 2 hour, 2 or more hour time frame. Um, my name is Kev, and let me tell you a little bit about myself and this channel. Um, really, my start from social media is Facebook. What I intended to do with the Facebook group I created named Black Men Being Brutally Honest with Everyone was to make it a kind of productive discussion group. But you can only go so far on Facebook. So let's bring some productive discussions with some eager and good minds on the YouTube. I mean, nothing like hearing someone's voice say it instead of reading it. But also, just to touch on this for a little bit, as we all know, there's this super flu virus out there called COVID-19. It's one of the coronaviruses, uh, one of the many coronaviruses that are out there. Um, but it's having an impact on the community in the world. It's taking the world by storm. So, what I would like for everyone to do is to just, keep your eyes on the media, and take the necessary precautions, take the common sense precautions to keep yourself safe. One of these common sense precautions they want you to practice is social distancing. Um, Also, pretty much stuff you grew up with, like wash your hands consistently, use hand sanitizer, um, don't touch your face, clean surfaces regularly with bleach or approved sanitized products. It's important that you read labels on cleaning products because, especially now more than ever. So, just wanted to put that bug in your ear, and it's pretty much what's being sprawled all over the media anyway. So, all right, have Roger Stevens here. Long live the habitual Linesteppers, sir.
Long live the habitual line steppers, sir. Okay. What's happening tonight?
Yeah. This just taking the time, at the beginning of this broadcast to talk about COVID-19 and the impact that it has. Before we get into the subject matter of accountability, just reminding everyone that accountability always does not have to lead into the black relationship conversation, but in the context that the word accountability is being used, then you know, then we have to discuss that context as well. We can't avoid that part of it because that's really what's discussed very often when you bring that. Who's accountable for what. Um, but where you're living at, Roger? How's COVID-19? How's the hysteria affected and impacted the way of life where you're at?
I'm not gonna say it stopped the show, but there's people who are staying home a little bit more. I don't see as much traffic out in the street, so it's starting to have it's starting to have an effect. I'll say that it's starting to have an effect, and yeah, there've been people who done hit the grocery stores and the Walmart and all that type of stuff. Those have been hit, and you got places changing their hours of operation. So yeah, you're feeling it there. So
Uh,
People
uh,
still can basically do whatever they need to do. It's just, well, I mean, the movie theaters have closed, so it's having an effect. I just think people just need to, do what they can. I'm of the mindset that if there's so many ways that you can catch this, all you can do is just be careful and do what you got to do, and not worry from there.
mm, yeah, it's definitely impacted home life for me. My child is at home. Um, yeah, and she's been a restless, super playful. We take her outside. As much as we can. We'll take her around to the park, but I'm finding out she has tons more energy than I thought she did. But it's okay because it's me. It's been very refreshing. To have her there. And it's like, people complain about stuff like that, but it's really no trouble for me. I guess, for some of us parents, being a parent is natural, which is cool. But yeah, we definitely are more conscious of, our cleanliness, just, keeping the lights all products. But as far as impact of local life, yeah, every time I go in a grocery store, the toilet paper shelves are empty. All the chicken is bought out, all the meat, um, all the charcoal. Um, yeah, people been grilling because there's this massive rumor that there's going to be a national lockdown. It's quarantine. I've heard about 4 times this week from 4 different places, and um, I've heard in some parts. I've seen a couple social media posts, and uh, in the mainstream media, they're saying that this is a just a largely a hoax. But they have done this in a few cities. I think San Francisco, and then they went statewide with it in California.
Well, I wouldn't go as
I think
far
that
as saying it's a hoax. I wouldn't go that far. You know.
Yeah, yeah. But you definitely see it through the close of businesses where and places where people congregate. Also, the canceling of made sporting events. The NBA entirely. Sporting events. WrestleMania, which is a big one for that happens annually. They moved that to an isolated performance center, and it's just all this to keep everybody safe. Do you think that life can ever go back to being normal, or will there be some measures taken that will change the way we live and go about from day to day? Because the conspiracy theorists.
Well, I mean, I
uh,
think I think we should life should stay as close to normal as possible, and it should definitely be going back to as quickly as possible. If we as a society buy into so much stuff where we don't even use the freedom that we have, we're doing a disservice to ourselves and our families and those who fought to get us where we are today. So yeah, I mean, I think we need to take precautions, let them get stuff under control, let them figure out what's going on. But at the end of the day, it's the flu,
mm,
just a different form of the flu. I ain't finna die if I get the flu. That's just me. I can't speak for everybody else, but I ain't dying
well,
just because I got a flu. Now,
well,
I
well, well, let's be fair. I do understand that it does mess with your respiratory passageways by like overproducing mucus, and they said that and from what I hear, the precautions you have to be very, very, consistent, careful, very meticulous about it, or you could, it could be very bad. I'll say that much. It's like a flu and a super cold.
I mean, I get that,
And,
but it seems like the people who are getting hit the hardest are people who already had something wrong with them, and it's complicating other health issues. So, I don't. I personally do not expect just regular, normal, everyday people just to start dropping like flies. Yeah, but the case number may go up, but I don't expect us to start dropping like flies. I think we're built better as people than that. That's just my personal view.
all right, do you think that it's a good thing that we are in America where the healthcare is supposed to be bar none?
I mean, it's definitely an advantage, because for all the people who wasn't using toilet paper at first, and they had the ability to go get it. So,
All right.
but yeah, when it comes to medical benefits, yeah, I mean, we got a lot of medical benefits here. So I think whatever's really going on, I don't think they're gonna be able to necessarily stop the spread of it, um, because it just kind of got away from us by the time we found out what it was. So I don't see the spread stopping, but I do see that we are in positions as Americans that most of us will be able to fight against whatever it is. And I'm pretty sure most of us are going to live through it. We may have a small percentage that may pass away, even if they don't have any other type of problems previously. But I'm guessing that's going to be in less than 1% of the people. I don't expect a monumental death count.
Well, we also have to understand is that we do have older relatives, some of which do have compromised immune systems, and this is mainly who this is attacking. So even if it's only attacking and killing a certain demographic, we have to be sensitive and considerate of that at least. I mean, I for one, I have a relative that is close to me that is receiving maintenance cancer treatments. And I would hate for COVID-19 to touch anyone like him. Now we have put it out there that we have melanin in our skin, so we might be somewhat immune, but due to uh, the celebrity cases, like Idris Elba and Kevin Durant, supposedly it's not true. But I'm treating it like, yeah, black people can catch it too. So hopefully that doesn't impact that person. And the people that are around that person are staying, taking the necessary precautions to make sure that COVID-19 doesn't impact our family. So
Well, let me say that I don't think flus are discriminatory like that. So I think it's open to anybody. This is my personal view. But I do believe with the changes that I've seen being made, because like we talk about older folks and being protected. I've seen nursing homes not allow visitors. Hospitals are taking that road to not allow visitors as well. So I see a lot of different things that we are responding the correct way. That's why I do not personally believe if we just keep using our good sense that we're gonna have some huge outrageous death toll. It's just up to us as people to be smart and not
all right,
purposely do things that'll put ourselves or others in danger.
all right. Let me get some shout outs. We had a guy named Idris Elbow in the chat. Shout out to LaShawn Jefferson, Stoic One, Enriching Buildmonger. Thanks for joining us tonight. Um, Enriching Buildmonger says, "I want to know who's gonna take the vaccine when they make it mandatory," and he puts mandatory in quotes. Um, yeah, anybody that wears a tinfoil hat knows that the story, the legend of the RFID chip, and from what I hear and from various reports and snuff websites and reputable websites alike, it said Bill Gates is trying to back implanting a chip into each one of us that contains this vaccine. Uh,
I think that's hogwash. I don't think the RFID chip is a whole separate issue. I don't think it's gonna have anything to do
yeah,
with this vaccine, but I'm pretty sure eventually they will have a vaccine, and more than likely they're gonna make it mandatory. How they're gonna do it? Because they're gonna make all the school kids take it, and they'll have the jobs force their employees to take it. So we are gonna end up
yeah,
taking it anyway.
yeah. And I got to tell everybody about vaccines. It won't be the first time they've made a vaccine mandatory. I remember growing up, I've had to take various vaccines. My parents have had to take various vaccines. Stories like the Tuskegee experiment, and of course, the Mark of the Beast. Yeah, everybody, they mention the Mark of the Beast in Revelations in the Bible. Um, with all that being said, these stories have always been around. So, one more vaccine to save your life, or be sick with COVID-19. Now, I don't believe everyone is being affected or everyone is going to be affected. One thing that I try to do is I try to avoid everything that says mandatory on it. But you know what I'm saying. But what do you do when you're really faced with something like that? Do you go to do you go to prison for it?
Well, no, I mean,
What would you do, Roger?
like I say, at the end of the day, I believe we gonna end up basically having to take, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna make your kids take it to go to school, and they'll make us take it as adults to go to a job. So unless you're the owner of the company, you know what I'm saying? Well, you could make somebody else do something, but ain't nobody checking you. We gonna all pretty much end up
Mm,
taking it anyway. That's just my personal opinion. But I don't think it's. I just think if people just take the fear out of the situation, just understand that this is a flu. Okay, it may be a little bit of a bad flu, but they are making adjustments. We have medical professionals, we have scientists that's doing what they need to do to get stuff under control. And when we just start hearing people like regular healthy people are just dying at random, that's when we should be afraid. But we're not hearing that right now. We're hearing that people with other issues is creating problems for them, but it's not really, you know what I'm saying? Like said on Dottie's channel, you ain't shit for watching. If Rudy Gobert die, now I'm worried. But I don't expect Gobert to have a real problem. I don't expect Donovan Mitchell to have a real problem. I don't expect Kevin Durant to have a real problem. I don't expect Idris Elba to have a real problem. Doesn't mean I'm correct. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that I'm correct, but at the end of the day, when we start hearing about random healthy people dying, then we need to be a little concerned. But at this point, just try to make sure we're not doing anything to spread it.
yeah, Stoic one says DJ Black and Mild has died after contracting it. Also understand that DJ Black and Mild had pre-existing conditions. They did highlight that in that article. He was 44 years old and he was a black man. So like everyone's been saying, stop spreading that black people can't get it. It's a thing to feel good about at the end of the day, but it's not. It doesn't feel that great when it's you, and it doesn't feel that great. It doesn't feel anything for DJ Black and Mild because he's dead. I want to take time to play a recording I received. Just and then we'll get on with the topic. I received this in a DM message. Just some information about the virus itself. Just for 4 or 5 minutes of you guys' time, and then we'll get on with the topic itself. The topic is accountability for what exactly, and we're gonna dig right in. But just get your thoughts, Roger, after I play this. So just it said the last 4 minutes and 26 seconds. So here we go. Hi guys. Just wanted to pass on this information. It was sent to me by a colleague who has a friend that works at Dr. Negrin, which is the main hospital on our island. It's obviously in Spanish, so I'm just going to read it and translate it for you. This is what it says. The Chinese now understand the behavior of the COVID-19 virus thanks to autopsies that they have carried out. This virus is characterized by obstructing respiratory pathways with thick mucus that solidifies and blocks the airways and lungs. So they have discovered that in order to be able to apply a medicine, you have to open and unblock these airways so that the treatment can be used to take effect. However, all of this takes a number of days. Their recommendations for what you can do to safeguard yourself are: number one, drink lots of hot liquids, coffee, soups, teas, warm water. In addition, take a sip of warm water every 20 minutes because this keeps your mouth moist and washes any of the virus that's entered your mouth into your stomach, where the gastric juices will neutralize it before it can get to the lungs. Number two,
Gargle with an antiseptic in warm water, like vinegar or salt or lemon, every day if possible. Number 3, the virus attaches itself to hair and clothes. Any detergent or soap kills it, but you must take a bath or a shower when you get in from the street. Avoid sitting down anyway and go straight to the bathroom or shower. If you cannot wash your clothes daily, hang them in direct sunlight, which also neutralizes the virus. Number 4, wash metallic surfaces very carefully because the virus can remain viable on these for up to 9 days. Take note and be vigilant about touching handrails and door handles, etc. I guess within your own house as well, you can make sure that you are keeping those clean and wiping them down regularly. Number 5, don't smoke. Number 6, wash your hands every 20 minutes using any soap that foams. Do this for 20 seconds and wash your hands thoroughly. Number 7, eat fruits and vegetables. Try to elevate your zinc levels, not just your vitamin C levels. Number 8, animals do not spread the virus to people. It's person-to-person transmission. Number 9, try to avoid getting the common flu, I guess because this just already weakens your system, and try to avoid eating and drinking cold things. And number 10, if you feel any discomfort in your throat or a sore throat coming on, attack it immediately using the above methods. The virus enters the system this way and remains for 3 or 4 days within the throat before it passes into the lungs. Good luck to everyone. Take care of yourself and pass this information along if you wish, he says. So I've heard a lot of the same thing from a lot of different sources. So it seems to me that this is now kind of very credible advice that people can be taking on board to try and protect themselves. Hope it helps. Bye.
All right. For those of you, what was your takeaway from that, Roger? Yeah, it sounds like something that you don't want to experience, but at the same time, if you went through a consistent regimen, you could be rid of it within a matter of a couple of weeks. Would you say this explains the recovery rate in China? Because they've gotten back to normal life.
Oh yeah, because I mean, my thing is at the end of the day, it's still the flu. It's just a different version of the flu. So, I mean, what she's saying can be helpful. Because if the germs can attach themselves to different surfaces, you know, taking a shower immediately when you come back in the house and setting your clothes apart does make sense. So those are little things that um, you know, drinking hot fluids. Yeah, that may be possible. I don't know if that's really gonna help, but maybe it does. You know,
Well,
but
they
I
said in
think
order for the vaccine, they said in order for the vaccine to work, that it has to be able to pass through your passageways in order for it to take effect. So that would be something very important. Also, they said sunlight kills it. Sunlight. So why is it if you're outside, if you're somewhere where the sun is blaring, why not walk around like that? That means that on hot sunny days, this virus cannot thrive.
I
So if
would
you're in a warm,
go ahead.
yeah, and they're saying some pretty good stuff in the chat. Common sense stuff like Stoic Woman. You must wash your hands. Yeah, wash your hands frequently. That's what I've been doing. I've also been practicing using hand sanitizer. So
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I think if anything, it's probably warm temp. It's probably not the sunlight itself. It's probably the warm temperatures. That's why it
you know,
hasn't affected Africa, based on what I've what I've been hearing. I heard that the cases that have been in Africa have been foreigners who come into Africa, not people who live in Africa. So I don't think it's necessarily the sunlight. Until I hit differently, I'm probably gonna say it's probably the warm weather.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, but they say also it says it's impacting New York. It's impacting New York. Do you think that it's because of environmental and geological elements? Like, say for instance, probably still cold up there.
Actually, I think it's because that's where you had the most people coming into the country. It's one of the borders to the country as far as people flying in from other places.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a bunch of person to person contact as well. So, um, but you said it's pretty much under control where you're at. Where I'm at is pretty much under control too. I don't hear that there's like rampant cases, and I think this is why although the businesses are closed, life itself really hasn't slowed down that much.
Well,
Yeah,
I want to say it's under control. I just want to say that I if it can spread the way they say it can spread, uh, worrying ain't gonna help you. You just gotta take precautions. But you're gonna get the same result whether you're worried or not. So I don't personally believe in the worrying to death because that doesn't help you do anything. That's just my perception. You take the precautions, you do what you can, and you try to stay in good spirits, but don't worry yourself to death over something you can't control.
yeah. Shout out to Raining Woman in the chat. She said her dad wants to get tested now. Yeah, they want to increase testing over here. Just to get an idea of how many cases there actually are, because there's people probably walking around with it they can't even tell if they have it. Um, so there might be different levels of how it affects people. Like, if you're really truly walking around with it and don't know it, then it might not be affecting you that much. But and Stoic One is saying if sunlight kills it, it should die outside. It's in much of Africa. Yeah, because Africa is a really sunny place. They call it they call African people the sun people for a reason. So might have something to do with melanin
But
too.
that's
But if
why
it did
I
have
don't.
something to do with the melanin, they wouldn't report it like that anyway. Because people are petty and angry. Especially with melanated people.
I say that I don't think it's sunlight. I think it's climate, if anything. If it was
Climate.
sunlight, it wouldn't be a yeah. Because if it was sunlight, how could it be turned into a pandemic in any other location that gets sun?
Yeah.
So we gotta look at how stuff is being reported and what the true message is. We all get sunlight every day. So if it was just about sunlight, people just stay outside.
Yeah, like it's like COVID-19. It's just gremlins. They can't survive in the
Exactly.
sunlight.
Exactly. Rather than staying in the house, we should be being told to kick it outside. Get you some
Yeah,
sunlight. Go to the beach.
yeah, yeah. Well, they said in Miami they had a beach party, which everybody was told to stay in, and several people have contracted the virus. So, yeah,
Yeah, which is why I don't necessarily buy into the sunlight situation. I'm thinking maybe it's the climate, but I really don't know. We don't have enough
maybe
information
it's
at this point to make those
maybe it
determinations.
has a maybe it behaves differently. Like it just has different behaviors, and maybe all of the information is accurate because a lot of it sounded like it just made some sense. But just in case it did, I put it out there. So just whatever you can do, to for prevention until it's quote unquote under control. But we're about 30 minutes into it, and I would say that we need to get on with the topic that itself.
Well, let me say this real quick
Tonight.
to you before you switch.
Yeah, go ahead. Chief.
People just need to
Yeah.
accept we don't have enough information to really know. Therefore, just continue to take precautions. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Okay. Well, thanks for that little bit, Roger. But anyway, tonight's topic. Yeah. Accountability for what exactly? Now, Roger, when you hear the word accountability, what context has it always usually been in as far as these conversations go?
Well, it's about being accountable for personal choices. Times black men need to be responsible for black women.
You're borging, Roger.
What's that?
I say you're borging.
Okay. No. I've you accountability for the most part. It seems that black men need to be responsible for black women's choices that had nothing to do with them. That's how I see it being used way too much. It should be about, a lot of times men use it as people should be taking accountability for their own actions, but it seems like when people start,
Yeah, you just borged out on them last few words. But let's just go ahead and let me just go ahead and say a couple things on this. I will always be always taught to be accountable for my actions and how my actions not only impact others but impact myself as well. That level of accountability makes you conscious of the things that how you carry on from day to day. And in a perfect world, you wish that everybody was like that, conscious of their own level of accountability and how it impacts others, basically. Especially when you do something like I would say get somebody pregnant and make a child with them, then you're accountable for not only what you've done to one person, you're accountable for two people because you brought someone else into this world. Now, people say they get tired of this whole conversation of who is more accountable between the genders and all this other stuff. They get tired of it, but you know what? People don't get tired of bringing it up. From what the same people that say they're tired of it, they don't get tired of bringing it up. So let's talk about accountability right now, because on this channel and on the channels of the habitual line steppers, that's where it matters to me. That's where it's happening. So we're going to discuss it here. Accountability for what exactly? So Roger, all right, are you back? You back, sir?
yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. One thing that I do hear very often is that black men don't hold black men accountable enough. So let's dive into that for a second. Yeah. So my thing is like, yes, we do hold each other accountable. Like with it, and it's pretty much all, well, at least in my circles, it's pretty much always been that way. So I'm putting these two questions up here. And I would like some chat participation in this. Are black men held accountable? And the second question is, do black men hold other black men accountable enough?
Yeah, I mean the questions are just stupid. Are stupid. Period. I'm sorry. The questions are just stupid. We live in a whole society that holds black men accountable in every shape, way, and form. Black men be looking for a pass, you know what I'm saying, in all kinds of ways and can't find them. So to even suggest these type of questions are just absolutely preposterous at this particular point in time. Black men can't too. You can get away with something for a while, but usually you gonna get caught up. That's just the way it goes. And we get held accountable for stuff we didn't do, and that can be proven just with the criminal justice system. So to suggest that black men don't hold other black men accountable, it's just dumb. I know you ain't come up with this question yourself, kid. That's why I don't mind saying that it's dumb. It's just completely stupid.
Well, these questions that are being posed are a reflection of the questions that I often get asked, or the challenges that are often thrown at me in these type of discussions. So I'm just going to put them on the screen, and we're going to challenge them, and I'm going to challenge these questions. And here's my answers: yes, black men are held accountable, and yes, black men do hold others accountable. And I don't have to sit here and talk about Derek Jackson all night to establish that. I don't. Is to say to say that black men don't hold black men accountable is usually a straw man argument, because it's the same. You get backed into a corner when you're in a discussion with a black man, and then all of a sudden all this bullshit starts to come out that we don't hold each other accountable enough. I know this is an overused word, but I'm about to use it. The word simp. Okay, this is expressed through the simps that people run into. And everybody's like, oh my God, you're talking about black men that love black women. Oh, yeah, that's why you're calling them. No, I'm not talking about that simp. I'm I'm talking about the simp that can clearly see the conversation just like I can, and see what's being said between the two parties, and tries to cause disruption. What was that word you used the other day, Roger? Traitor. If you encourage and you promote irresponsibility within our community, then you are a traitor. There are plenty of traitors out there.
Yes, and a
Yeah.
simp would be a traitor because the definition of a simp, before it came to online and people overuse it, has always been about men that protect women from accountability. So to be a simp is automatically to be a traitor.
Yeah. But at the very basis, the very basic of it, is this not evidence of black men holding other black men accountable?
I can't see where in life um that you can find a bunch of different examples of black men not holding black men accountable. When you see a 40-year-old man living at home, he ain't living with his daddy.
Yeah, and then we don't hold that guy up on our shoulders like, oh, this is a black man right here that you should look up to and respect. We're not asking for respect for that guy. I mean, it's I don't put on the cape for losers. I'm gonna put it like that. I mean, not necessarily that a guy that living with his mom, depending on like the circumstance. Like, say for instance, if he's living with his mom but she's sick. She's too sick to take care of herself. That's a different situation. But if you are like basically a moocher, then that's the kind of guy we're talking about. I mean, that kind of guy. We don't hold that guy up on our shoulders and say, "Hey, look, black man." I feel like shout out to D. Clark. He says for the most part, black men do hold other black men accountable. Damn right. Put that on the screen for y'all. Yeah, read that. Read that. For the most part, black men do hold other black men accountable. Now, let me shift the conversation in this direction. Yeah, I could tell, and it's like I said, and I used to be this guy when I was much younger. Though I used to be the guy that used to tell these guys, "Don't be dogging these females out, man." Shoot, man,
Oh,
damn, that. I used to be that guy. Don't be trying to get these girls pregnant like that, man. I mean, but did it slow them down? Did it slow the females down? No, it didn't. I'm not saying that, you shouldn't do that, but I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna catch when you do that. You're gonna guys and females that's gonna say, "Hey, you ain't doing nothing but hating. You just mad because you ain't getting no pussy. That's why you always complaining about these women." Yeah, I used to hear it back then.
of course.
So I just stopped and I just let people do how they want to do. If y'all want to fuck, if y'all want to shoot nuts up in these females, if these females want to allow you to do it, go right ahead. Go right ahead, do it. I'm not finna get caught in the middle of this bullshit back and forth with it's like if you wanna if you wanna let these guys do y'all like that, if you wanna let these girls do this shit, then go right ahead. But don't be bringing me into it when the shit goes wrong.
I mean,
I mean, I try to tell y'all.
well, see, this is my thing. When it comes to all that, women have to hold men accountable when it comes to sex, and men have to hold the women accountable, and the women have to hold the men accountable. Nobody's in the wrong with you when you're about to have sex unless you're having an orgy. So therefore, you have to individually hold the other individual accountable when it comes to any type of sexual access. And women just talk about men holding other men accountable because they don't want to deal with the accountability for their own actions at the end of the day. Because what's gonna happen every single time you try to stop a man from giving some woman some dick, women are gonna have a problem with it. Just that simple. That's why you're gonna get called names. You a hater. You know what I'm saying? Why you all in my business? You know what I'm saying? Who is you to tell us not to have not to have sex raw and all that? That's all you're gonna get from that type of stuff. So my thing is, at the end of the day, women can't stand men that hold other men accountable.
Mm. I asked a question earlier on Facebook. I was like, do you tell your sons not to nut in these women since you want us to tell your sons? I mean, you should be the one telling your sons not to nut up in these women. Is to me is that simple. Yeah, I wish I had a female up here on the panel. I don't want to be caught up in just saying too much about the females and then not having a female at least to, if she wants to offer a rebuttal or if she wants to agree. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Anyone that wants to come up can. Shout out to Tolly Jackson. You were in here under another name. I'm trying to remember what name that was,
Son.
but I do remember that pic. What's up,
No, it was Son. The name he was under was Son.
son? Oh, okay, yeah. All right, yeah. So shout out to son.
But if his mama called him Tolly, I'm gonna call him Tolly. No, but I mean, real talk though. At the end of the day, black women want black men to hold other guys accountable. Well, that's called a father. A father holds his sons accountable. If y'all had some
Yeah.
fathers for your children, you wouldn't have to worry about the accountability issue to be taken care of. Stop trying to get black men that you're not involved with to hold your children accountable and to hold the men you're dealing with accountable. That's your job.
Mm. Yeah, my father held me accountable. Did me a lot of good. You know, any father would, and according to the stats, most fathers do hold their sons accountable.
I mean, we can see the outcomes of situation, and when a black father is there, and you usually gonna have a better result. That's just how it is.
Mm,
So therefore, black men deal with accountability, even when it comes to other black men. Period. The only problem we got is that and I hate to say it this way, but the black man's biggest problem right now is trusting the black woman. And I hate to
mm,
say it that way, but anytime you give them room to make decisions, in most cases they're going to make decisions that are not good for the black community. They make decisions that's good for themselves, but only for the moment. They don't even make the best decisions for themselves. It's just that in that moment, best decision for them.
mm. So what you're saying is that there's a huge problem with the accountability of that.
Yeah, because they don't want to raise their own children, and they want adults to be adults that are productive and productive individuals and all that without raising them. That's really what it comes
Mm,
down to. They want the effect of properly raised children without have to actually properly raise them. That's what's going on.
yeah. Yeah, but on the other side of that, when they are successful, when their kids do turn out good, let's use the context of single mothers. They want to claim Father's Day also. I'll put it like that. They the mother and the father. Then there's no problem with accountability when everything is good. There isn't, and I mean like that's pretty much anyone. That's pretty much anyone. Everybody wants the credit for doing something good. But when things go south, then it seems like the finger is being pointed in every other direction.
Well, I mean, let's keep it real even with that. When children do well, in spite of coming up from a single mother, yes, women want credit for it, but when you start checking into the child's backstory, there's always a bunch of other people that really help the kid. When it comes to, because they usually do this when it comes to people who make it as a professional athlete. There are a bunch of coaches and whatnot that's involved with this kid. There's other people helping this kid get to practice on time and all this. If you're doing something more from an academic standpoint, the kid is getting himself back and forth the way he got to go to. Usually, the parent is not very much involved when it comes to a single mother, regardless of how that kid makes it. So with you know what I'm saying. Now I know a couple cases where the mothers are truly involved and they're trying to direct their children in the right direction, but that just ain't most of them. At the end of the day, kids have to make their own decision about what life they want to have. Because a lot of single mothers just don't actually care to see which life they gonna move into. They just don't care.
What up, fellas?
What's happening? What's happening?
Not much,
What's
brother.
going on,
Hey, I
son?
appreciate the shout out, brothers. Thank you.
No, no problem, man. No
Yeah,
problem. We appreciate our viewers, the people who watch us,
yeah.
tune in
Hey,
and participate.
I, I was just overhearing, man. Hey, y'all absolutely right. And going into the who am I speaking with right here? Uh, was it Roger
The
Report?
Roger Report,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and
it just made the comment. Yeah, you what you were saying about like with the youngsters, like you got the one cat that makes it to a prestigious college or hit the NBA or the NFL. You know, moms want to take the credit, you know, because moms was there, whatever the case may be, but they're not looking at, you know, the coaches that was there hours with him, you know, to develop his skill and all that stuff. You know, they want to take credit for all that, you know, but that father figure was still there. You know what I mean?
yeah, shout out to the men in our community that step up and take the reins of leadership that don't
Right,
get the credit.
right. They don't get the credit, you know, and they long and sometimes they long forgotten after that.
yeah. And see,
Yeah,
I wouldn't have a problem with single mothers. Talk about how I work to give my kid this and work to give. The problem is when you say you did it by yourself, which is a lie. That's
Exactly.
that turns into the problem. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody got to work. You know what I'm saying? If you were married, maybe the husband is the one that work all the time. You know what I'm saying? Even if it was a situation where the woman was the one that work all the time, you do it as a unit to help your kids. But at the end of the day, when you get to a point where your kid done did all this stuff, this in spite of how you were not there for them the way you should have been, or even if you call yourself being there the way you should have been, for you to sit there and say, "Well, yeah, I had to do it by myself." My thing is that is a lie. You didn't have to do anything by yourself. You chose to do it by yourself as far as what did get done. But when it comes to that child's success, there's a bunch of other people involved in it.
A bunch of other people.
Well,
mm, yeah, absolutely. And what if you watch these documentaries and these backstories and these biographies, there's always mention of a couple of males in these backstories when there was no father present. Um,
well, my thing
so
is
anyway,
if you pay attention the things that's being said. A lot of times, these mothers don't even help to get their kids to practice, or like I said, if it's
Yeah.
more academic situation, they don't even help make sure their kids get the material they need to excel in school. I had to go to the library because we ain't had no internet. You see your kid is thriving as a student, getting straight A's and all that, but you don't make the sacrifice. Go and let the brother get the internet in the house. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, it's a bunch of other people involved, but they don't want to credit the bunch of other people that's doing the work.
hmm, all right. We have Mella that just joined us. What's up, Mella? How you doing?
Mighty fine. Just like
Yes.
the habitual line steppers. Mighty fine.
What's
So
happening,
Yes.
Mella?
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
We feel pretty good over here. So thanks. Yes, we're talking about the word accountability tonight, and the context that the word is often used in, and and the conversations and the subject matter. Let me get a couple of your thoughts, Mella. I posed a question. Do do black men are black men held accountable enough? Do black men hold each other accountable? What's your opinion on that? Mella. Oh, Mella went on mute. Mm, Okay. Well,
That
she when she comes back, then I'll ask the question. But go ahead, Roger. You had something to say?
Well, I'm gonna say the answer is a resounding yes. You see, men
Hmm.
live in a total different world than women, and men have to deal with accountability on a regular basis. We understand that if we for whatever reason, if we can't pay a bill, we got to talk to somebody and see if we can get a pass. Man, I
Mm-hmm.
had an issue with the car, or
Yeah,
my,
yeah.
my kid got suspended. I had to do X, Y. Like we looking for a pass. Like, come on, can I get a pass on this one? And if I can't get no pass, don't worry about it. I'm gonna take care of it next week, whatever. Like we have we already know that there's a consequence coming behind whatever it is that we didn't get done when it needed to be done. We already understand the consequences gonna be there. Maybe we get a pass, but in most cases, we're not going to get one. See, women always ask, are men holding other men accountable enough? Because they don't live in a world filled with accountability. They get away with a bunch of crap. So they view things through their own way of seeing things. Somebody told me that a long time ago. Most people do not take the time out to think about how the other person sees something. And because women can get away with stuff so much, they just assume men get away with a bunch of stuff. They don't live in our world. They just don't. They have no idea what it's like to be a man.
They don't. They don't. We don't. I should say we don't. I've never walked in a man's shoes. In the realm of responsibility, otherwise known as accountability, I will say this: I did have a conversation with my son, uh, most recently, about this very topic of. We titled it "Responsibility." It's also equates to responsibility, accountability. It's in the same realm. Would you all agree?
Same realm, a little bit different, but same realm.
All right. So, in the realm of accountability, um, what um, what I introduced him to was what his position is as a man in this world. He has dominion. He is born with the entitlement of dominion. And it's up to him to hold himself accountable as to how he enacts the how that flourishes. And that's my thought on it. I don't really study the dynamics of male and female relationships because that'll work itself out in different areas of attraction and biology, right? What I focus on is whether or not a person is going to take hold of their responsibility to make sure that they flourish in the area of position that they are placed in this world. As a man, he is placed in this world to have dominion. As a woman, we are placed in this world to be a it's just that simple. When we make it more complicated than that, that's what, it gets all kerfuffled. It just gets discombobulated, in my humble opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong, please.
Well, I'm gonna say that when it comes to um your son, well, to even teach him about accountability, I would just say get him around men that can do that, because as a woman, it'll just be so hard for you to even conceptualize the level of accountability that men have to deal with.
His
And
parents, his parents, his parents taught him that. My husband and myself taught him that.
I mean, that's cool. My thing is that type of stuff should come from men, because at the end of the day, women don't really have a clear concept of what men have to face. And we can tell that based on the actions that women do on the general level. I'm not saying you personally, but for audience sake, anytime it comes to as a boy or a young man
Mm-hmm.
being taught about accountability, to me, I would insist that a man be in charge of that type of conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just to be clear, we sat at a table, my husband, our child, and myself. My husband spoke. I agreed. My son picked up the message. That's how that went down. And I'm just relaying it to you guys. That's it.
I mean,
Hey,
that,
hey,
that oh, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, I was gonna ask a question. because I've seen it a few times. In reference to, okay, you got the father and the mother, and sometimes, and sis, you might disagree with me. Sometimes the moms can be an enabler, because I've seen it several times where the father, where the mother may think the father's a little too harsh on the son. You know, when the father's trying to make him more responsible for his actions and the things that he does, but the mother wants to kind of still kind of baby him. I've seen that several times. And there's always a confliction with the mother and the father.
And let me build off what you just said, son.
Yeah, go ahead.
Take away the father element, and you have what everyone talks about basically. You know, but you still got that whole, mother, baby, and the son. Would you say that this contributes to the lack of control a lot of these young men have? And
you asking me or
if this is a single parent, if this is a single motherhood discussion, there's very little that I can relate to about that, but I'll do my best. I just wanted to interject that.
No. Well, son. Well, I just built off what son was saying, but
I only asked that question. I only asked the question because I go through it with me and my wife and several of our couple friends who had sons. It's the same thing, Sometimes, we lay down certain things that we went through, as fathers, we went through, and we try to tell our sons, and the mother think that we're too harsh on them, and a lot of times they'll try to butt in and say, okay, well, you're being a little too harsh on them, and I'm like, no, I'm trying to tell them what's going on out there, It got me to the point where we needed to be, and I'm trying to make sure he's going to be squared up when he enters this world. And I've seen it too many times where it's always a confliction between the mother and father when it comes to the son.
I mean, that's going to happen because at the end of the day, a lot of sisters don't want their sons to grow up and be strong men. That's just a reality of the situation. Nobody likes to say it like that, but they don't want their sons to be strong men. The best thing a woman can do when it comes to when teaching a boy about accountability, the best thing she can do is have him talk to his father, or talk to the grandfather, talk to his uncles, because we live in a world that they have no concept of in most cases. That's why you have men that can be 40 and at home with their mamas, not taking it, not situation where like something happened to mama and she needs somebody to take care of her, but just
Rob,
regular old dudes just
chilling. Rob, she mad at me when I jump on him, when I jump on him, she mad at me, but yet, you where you at. You know what I'm saying? You where you at because of me.
Well, my suggestion is let the father do his job, especially when it comes to his son.
Let him do his job.
Let him do his job. That's simple. I mean, we always talk about how the father is needed. Let the father do his job.
I mean, real talk when it comes to and this just my personal belief, because y'all got to think
Anderson.
about it. Yeah, y'all got to.
Oh yeah, we've been joined. Yeah, we've been joined by Edward Anderson.
Yeah,
what's going on?
What's up, Ed?
Yeah, y'all don't want my opinion on this shit.
We do in a second, Ed. We definitely do in a second. Let me get this out.
Everybody knows that Mr. Anderson is non-biased.
I'm not biased. I mean, you know what's interesting?
Hold on, Ed. Let me finish my point. I'm let you rock. Yeah, let me. I mean, there's a reason that I, as a man, have said that this is a job for a man. Honestly, a mother don't even need to be in the room, and that's just real talk, because they don't live in our world. They don't understand our experiences, and it's not that they don't have the ability to. They don't care to. At the end of the day, men got to look at things from a realistic standpoint. We see who coddles kids, and we see who doesn't. We know how the world would treat our sons once they become grown, and a lot of times the bad stuff start happening before they even become grown. So
if I was a single mother, I definitely would have coddled him.
All right. So what men need to do, regardless of what a woman feels about it, is give their son the real, so he will know how to walk around and move in this world without some flawed way of thinking that his mother would teach him, because that's what she's gonna do. Because she's a woman, so she's gonna give him woman type thoughts. Go ahead, Edward.
Well, I mean, one thing I'll add. Well, first of all, as far as the bias thing, I'm 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 not biased. I'm really not. But when you live in a biased world, the unbiased will appear to be biased because they look at things in black and white for the most part, and that is the black community. Now, as far as what you were saying, um, Roger, one thing that needs to be talked about is how even though single motherhood is the main progenitor a lot of this, it doesn't just exist in single motherhood. There are plenty of marriages, plenty of common law marriages, as well as traditional real court paper marriages where a man is the submissive in his own house. And that's a situation that's his fault because at the end of the day, he chose to marry a chick. So just like how women are held accountable to who they have kids with, women are women are held accountable to who they have kids with. Men are held accountable to who they choose to go into marriage with. But even in the very beginnings of the manosphere, you had dudes that were products of marriages that had submissive men in them. And this happens there too, where the woman has to push a little bit more force behind it, but the same result is the same result. So I want to add that.
Oh, that's a good ad. But what do people
Hmm.
usually call men that are submissive in
I
their
was going to
marriage?
ask that question. I was going to ask that. What is a submissive man in a marriage?
I mean, I don't know. That's why I don't have an answer. That I don't have a for. I mean, for dudes that live
They
up under women, they're called homosexuals, but
hen
those are
tag.
that's outside of marriage.
They call them hen tag. They call them whipped. Uh,
I don't like to curse on there, but I'm gonna just say what it is. We call them bitch niggas at the end
So
of the day.
bitch niggas.
again, so
I,
so
I,
so
I
so
mean,
what are the
Roger, really though, like, is that really? If I say bitch nigga, is that really the first thing that comes to mind? Is a submissive husband? I generally don't think that. It's really something, in my opinion. I don't even think there's really a word for it, other because bitch nigga is a universal term. For black men, it ain't.
But
So
yeah,
it'll be
you
the
ain't got to be a married dude to be a bitch nigga.
well.
exactly. So I mean something specifically.
There
I,
you
I,
go.
I hear you. I'm not trying to come up with the name. I'm gonna just call them submissive husbands for right now, and then
well,
we'll upgrade that later.
I'm just gonna say, as a brother that was raised in a patriarchal home, that was raised under patriarchal rule, who knows both grandfathers. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's what come to my mind at first. When you talk about a man that's ran by his woman, that's what come to my mind. There's nothing wrong
But
with a
That's
man.
true.
Hold on, hold
what
on. Let me
must
say this.
but
Nothing wrong with a man that wants to do for his women. Nothing wrong with a man who wants to make his woman happy. But when your woman is running you, that's way too far gone.
well,
So that's what's in my
let's
mind.
let's be clear about this, Roger. First of all, like I said, a man is held
I
accountable to the relationships he gets involved in. But to just say that he's ran by his woman, it really hides the fact that there's a lot more deeper systematic cultural things as well as legal things that goes on to create that situation. Because it's not just, I would argue, it's about
um
today 70-30 that the 33% of black men that are married are, I would say, six submissive situations to the women
what
that they're with.
what does that
I'd
look
say
like?
70-30.
I can't even imagine what that looks like. What does a submissive man in a marriage look like?
like like
Are
like
there
really, you can't
examples?
imagine
Well,
it.
No,
Dwayne
I mean,
Wade,
Most
I'm serious. Like,
Waka Flocka, Dwayne Wade, Waka Flocka. I mean, I can go down the list. I mean,
I,
it's everywhere. It's all over media too. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, it's in
well,
real life
okay,
too.
describe it to me so I
Black
can
Lightning.
understand it.
No, take celebrities off. I'll describe it as a man that came to BGS Igmore's channel, and he wasn't even just. We weren't even talk about this topic. He was just talking and talk about stuff in the situation. And this is not even a dude that you would call a bitch nigga. This is how it happens. You got to let's say you got what a situation he described in particular was a situation where he has a daughter and this is like a former D boy, by the way, so he's not like has in a and black. He's a cheating mechanism. He cheats a little. He used to cheat too. So this is not a dude that can't replace a female. But anyway, he's married to this woman, has a kid with this woman. She's about 18 years old, or 17 or 16. It was the age. Philly, and she wants to basically look like a thought, for lack of a better term. He didn't use that terminology, but that's what it was. Wants boy attention, height, shorts, all that stuff. And then he put his opinion saying, you don't need to wear that. And then the woman stepped in and basically overrode him. You also see that a lot in stepdaddy situations too, where women will override a man saying these are my kids and stuff like that. But you see that in marriage situations too. It just comes out in different ways. So it's not like, hey, I'm gonna put my female dick on the table and make you bow down. No, it's a lot more subtle. It's a lot more passive aggressive. You see this a lot in the church, this subtle politicking. And what happens is the children they learn that at the end of the day, the woman has veto power, because what dudes do, this is the psychology behind the dudes. Dudes believe their role is to keep the peace, not command order. So what they do is they will say, well, women will be women and let her win battles, because a real man is supposed to be strong and basically a real man's supposed to be the bigger man, and he doesn't
So
basically psychologically bounce her head off the fucking wall and basically lay down the law, or basically say, "You'll get, I'm out." And that's how it happens. And then over time, what you have is dudes that they get comfortable in that role, because the way black women are wired is black women are wired to fight, 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 and keep the fight going. So a dude has a choice to either have a home that's you know, somewhat peaceful, or basically be arguing with a female, which black men are taught is beneath you as a black man, because you're arguing at a woman's level. Now, so this is why when dudes always say check a woman, when I ask men what does that mean, I find they don't even know what the fuck it means, because a woman can call the police on you. A woman can basically create chaos in the house unless you're willing to do what really needs to be done to handle that shit, which is oftentimes blow up the whole relationship. Um, women are taught to constantly subvert men, black women in particular. They are not at peace if they feel like a man, if they're the vice president. That is just all women know. It is most women, yes. And you see it all the time. This is why black women ain't married. This is why black women can't deal with keeping a man. It's for this very reason. They don't know how to settle into the role of what is to be feminine. So anyway, I challenge y'all to disagree with that or submit y'all opinions. But
No.
yep,
You hitting it on point.
No,
Checking a woman to
no.
me is just coming at her directly, and you letting her know what the situation is. This what you saying? Shut it up. This ain't gonna be tolerated. It is what it is. And if she goes into this thing where she can't follow, then she got to go. That's checking a woman to me. Yeah, you got
here's the
to blow the
no,
whole
that's
relationship
absolutely
up.
right. The problem with that, Roger, and it has nothing with probably what you just said, but most black men are not willing to leave. Most black men are not willing to take a pussy that's open and throw that shit in the garbage. They're not willing to do that. Especially, and then when you look at a marriage, niggas start saying cheaper to keep her and shit like that, because dudes are afraid of divorce. This is why most divorces are activated by women in the black community. The numbers, women activate more divorces overall, but it's not as skewed. 80% of divorces are activated by women in the black community, and it doesn't matter why the women do it. It just means that they go to the paperwork first, which tells you that men, even cheating dog men, tend to stay in relationships regardless if women get fat, regardless of whatever. So men have this is how it speaks to the ideology. And I was raised, I know my real dad, but I was raised with a stepfather. So, and a lot of people are raised around me with stepfathers, but even with folks that are married, I mean, you see it. It's just more subtle. It's not obvious, because it's
Yeah.
not that you ain't my daddy shit, but it's very obvious. And this is a problem. Like, this is an Xer issue. This is a boomer issue. I mean, BGS talks about it all the time, but I've seen it in real life. Yeah, it's subtle, but it's definitely there. It's like the church. If you grow up in the church, you see the dynamics. You see it.
Let me
Yeah,
say
yeah,
this real quick. Oh,
yeah. I'm gonna say I gotta give it to him. He hit the point. And the thing is, you got to be to the point where hey, forget it. Hey, you can have all of it. Hey, just so I can get some peace of mind. Hey, you got to be willing to let it all go.
Well, I ain't gonna let her have it. I'll let it go, but I ain't gonna let her
And
have it.
that's
But
what
I
I'm
mean, but
saying.
he's right.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
because the
Yeah,
other
go ahead,
because
Rick.
let's be clear here. The only real way to check most dudes, and that's by the way, that's where the cheating happens. A lot of black men cheat to check their woman. They just don't call it checking her because that low
Yep.
key signals I can replace you. I
Yep.
can do I can do as good or better. Now, in the confines of a marriage, that's a problem because obviously that creates other cultural issues. But this is typically how a man really checks a woman. Case in point, Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony didn't really cheat on Lala, who's older than him, by the way, by like 5 years, until she did that scene in Power, where he had to get his nuts back, and that's how he did it. Now, women will look at that and say that's betrayal, but they don't look at what happened before in a man's eyes. But anyway, I'm not saying all men cheat for that reason, but that's something that doesn't go unsaid. Another thing too, at the end of the day, men are not supposed to be in situations where they have to constantly blow up relationships in order to check a woman, to really check her, um, because that just doesn't work like that. It can't work that way. So if you compare what we have to other cultures, and when I say other cultures, there's legal mechanisms, there's layers, there's cultural layers, there's legal layers of things that are designed to check a woman for a man, so that a man does not have to blow up the relationship. What a woman can do is limited. So, and I'm not saying completely limited, but like limited. So, my main thing, and I'm done after this, the main issue is there are no checks and balances on a female's bullshit in the society. They have removed all of them. They remove the Darwinistic ones by providing welfare. They have removed the cultural ones in the black community, especially by subverting you know, the guy, black men every chance they get, but they're doing it with white men too. You're seeing it. Um, it's they've subverted all those layers. So when you go to other countries and other cultures, you see that's not the same thing because they either have the cultural layers or they have the legal ones. Anyway,
Well, let me say this real quick. I think when it comes to men, we have to have an understanding when it comes because women want to win some stuff too. They want to win. If you have in a household, you let her have anything that's insignificant. If you want to pick the color of the bathroom, long as it ain't pink, knock yourself out. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to pick
then
what
she
drapes,
gonna make it pink. Then she gonna make it
no,
light
no,
pink or something
no,
close to it.
no. That ain't an option. You know what I'm saying? If you need a pink bathroom, you need to get a place with a bathroom in it. You can't make our bathroom pink. That's what I'm saying when it comes to me. We're gonna have to you got to put your foot on the table about stuff that's significant. If it's not significant, let her have all that insignificant stuff. But anything that's significant, you need to run stuff. And if a woman gets too out of pocket where she's trying to prove to you she can't be ran, I say all the time that I think men should just stop paying bills immediately. If you want to, because if you're gonna go toward the direction of a divorce, it's a lot easier to get a divorce when there's no property to argue about. I ain't paying nothing. That's real talk.
No, I mean my salute. I mean I see BGS is here. But a lot of black men are just not getting married, man. Because at the end of the day, once you cross that bridge, there's too much legalese bullshit that gets in your way. Now, unless you really know the law, you learn from somebody who really knows how to do it. I'd say go for the paperwork first. That's what white men are good at. When they realize there's a problem, they'll go for the paperwork first. But even still, that's too messy. So it's better as a man. You can wait. I mean, Roger, you're 41, right? If you wanted to get married right now, you could, and you could get a woman 10 years. That's another thing. Get a woman 10 years younger. Get a woman that at you. And by the way, that's what black female dating people say. Like Rebecca Lynn Pope, quite a few women say that you need to create a 10-year gap because that's another thing that happens. Is you see in the black community, you see a lot of women that are older than men. You see that mother child bullshit going. That shit can't. And real talk, me personally, women tend to gravitate towards me. It's a little bit older, but I even had to look at that because at the end of the day, it's how the shit is structural in the black community. This is why people can say they don't see it, they don't know what's going on, and that may not be their situation, but I know they see it in some relationships that I'm talking about. And again, this is why this doesn't get spoken about. This is the great hidden issue. This is why we can't combine with each other, and this is why we can't really unite as a group to get anything done. Anyway, I see BGS on y'all on here, so I'll let BGS and y'all rock.
I was just listening.
Uh,
I mean, the reason, there is
I
no.
was gonna say, how we gonna
Well,
just
well,
get him to
BGS,
float
did you
just
hear
because he
Mela
showed
say
up?
she don't know what the fuck Mela one say she ain't never seen this, she can't
Damn, you
imagine
gonna
it.
start shit between me and BGS already?
No. What I'm saying is
Every
What
BGS
every
has
the
done
fuck
hold on.
kind of
Mela,
instigating
No,
stuff
Mela.
is this?
I'm not.
Mela,
No, I'm not
stop it.
instigating nothing. BGS has done the BGS for Women channel, so he has talked to women exclusively. That's why I did that. I mean, I ain't about. I mean, you don't need
Everybody,
help starting nothing.
everybody,
So,
The
everybody has
bias,
seen it.
but man,
so
Everybody has
I'm getting
seen
him
it.
up to speed. That's it.
What's up,
Everybody's
BGS?
seen it. Hey, what's going on? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
got
can
you.
hear you. I was trying to crack a joke and Meta ruined it with the timing, but
Oh
it's all
shit.
good.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
everybody's
my
seen it.
God, it's like
Can I
BGS
speak,
said,
Miller?
I'm just listening.
Can I
Yes,
speak,
Well,
sir.
Miller?
I'm
Yes,
catching him
sir.
up. That's
Thank you.
all.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Jeez. I said everybody's seen it. It's called the Cosby Show. Heathcliff Huxtable. Who ran that family?
What was her name?
Hold
Claire.
on,
Claire.
no. That's not a question for you, Roger.
Okay.
Yeah, who ran that family? We see it every
Oh,
week.
my bad. Yeah.
Who ran that family? It wasn't Cliff.
He couldn't even
I
get a.
can't
He could.
believe I can't believe I didn't think about that. But that's like the progenitor example, and all black people accept the Cosby Show as the ideal black family.
He couldn't even get a hoagie sandwich
Even,
unless he snuck it.
even,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
even hold on. Even in the episode when Claire was having problems with Theo and she deferred it to her husband.
She told Cliff to handle it. She
That's called
Oh,
designated
she
him.
told
delegation.
It's
That's
called
what
delegation.
presidents
Yes,
she
do.
told
yes,
him.
yeah,
She told
yes,
him.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
As
I
in
seen that. I
Trump
seen
is
that with.
telling the CDC to handle this corona shit.
I see that with my mother-in-law when she go in there and tell my
So
father-in-law.
Cliff was walking
Can I
around
can I can I
oblivious.
can I speak, Miller?
Okay.
Thank you. So I seen it with my mother-in-law. Uh, she would for my not only my children but also her son. If she got mad, she would run into the room and get back up and tell him to go handle it and make him go handle it. He just shake his head, and you know how it is when they sit down and say, "Well, your mama told me to come in and talk to you." Not that I decided to talk to you. Your mama told me to come in and
Oh,
told me
I've
to
heard
talk to
that
you.
shit too. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
that being given
I've
orders.
been given orders. Yeah.
And
And that makes a lot of sense.
that's not just in a stepdaddy situation. It's more overt
It,
in that situation, but it happens in the traditional marriages as well.
oh yeah, yeah, it does a lot. That's
Yeah, yeah.
in
Hey,
fact, in fact, in the black community, it's the majority of the time.
I'm not.
Thank you, because
Hmm.
BGS,
I'm
I
not.
said it was like 70%
It's about
of
that.
black
Yeah,
marriages,
I think
and
that's
I
low.
was kind of
I
throwing
think
that shit out
I
there.
think that's low.
Wow, see, Bella, see,
Even,
out,
even
see,
even Roger can
told
tell
you
you.
I'm not.
Roger was raised in a patriarchal family. He can tell you how unusual his family was compared to everybody else.
Sure enough. Sure
Hey, I
enough.
can say. I can say I went through it. I mean, like I said, when I would jump on my, like when my son was coming up, when I would
Hmm.
jump on my son,
Hmm.
my wife would be the enabler. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You being too hard on him.
Hmm.
But then when he was getting on her nerves,
Yeah,
she called me up for the backup.
for the backup. Yeah. No, you got to do something with your son because he ain't
Exactly.
listening to me. Yeah. In other words, you better
Yeah.
do you not you better do something with him.
But when I go at him, oh, I'm being too hard on him.
You've been too hard. Yeah, because it's not how she would do
Yeah, because it's her son then. It's only your
it.
son in the midst of trouble. It's
Yeah.
her son
Yeah.
when you punish too
So I'm
much.
like, you handle it.
You know how many times I have to cuss my mother out, my ex out, and her mother out about my kids, and tell them sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up and let me handle this, and they get
And that
quiet.
shit only happens in
Hmm.
the black community. That
Yeah.
shit
Hmm.
and by the way, it ain't even the men versus the women. In other communities, the first folks that's gonna jump on you if you get out of line like that is gonna be the older women. The elder women will check that shit at the fucking door, and they use shame to do it.
Mhm.
This is why you would never in other communities. I've heard this in the Latin community. I hear that most in the Latin community, but I've also heard this in the white community. I can't stand that motherfucker, but he's a good father. That shit is never said in the black community. You cannot associate how a female feels about the man with how he raises his kids. Because even a woman in these other cultures recognize, at least this makes this shit easier, because they would prefer him to have veto power on the kids, because that's how they interpret the backup. Don't make me get your father and
Yeah.
to really check you. In the black community,
You
you
know,
kind of already know, if you got mom, the dude, he's just cleanup. It ain't really, and I'm only saying this is because this is why a lot of dudes are not committing to black women like that. This is why. This is not just some shit. Dudes may not be able to articulate it like I can, or like what BGS can with his experience, but the reality is this is what they're acting on. So when women always ask, why do black men don't want to get married? Why do black men don't want to? This is the shit we know is coming. And it's like, what the fuck? There ain't no reward for that shit.
Everybody knows that if you dating the black community, you dating a black chick, and she's young, right? Then you know it's not daddy that you have to woo or impress. It's mama.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In other communities, you got to talk to dad. In our community, it's mama.
Yeah. I mean, it is a lot of that going on, because I know when I like first really hit the dating scene, y'all know when you like 18, 19 and you really start dating and all that, and people be like, you know what, I'm a you know what I'm saying, I want you to meet my mom and all that. I'll be like, man, I'll meet your daddy when I feel the time is right, but till then, it's like, I ain't worried about what your mama talking about. But see, I was viewed as weird because I didn't care nothing about what your mama had to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so I didn't care nothing about your mama. I still don't. To this day forward, I still don't care nothing about what your mama got to say.
Well, if you're gonna date the chick, man, you got to hear what mama's gonna say, because mama's gonna fuck your relationship if you don't.
And see, that used to be tradition. That used to be tradition. You know, you had to meet the parents. You know, you had to meet.
I was
I'm sorry, sis. I just want to get this out right quick. But I'm just saying, it used to be when, you know, a dude was dating a chick, you know, she would bring him over to the house and she had to meet the parents. She had to meet the daddy. And daddy was asking questions, you know, who are your parents? What did they do for a living?
Yeah, absolutely. That was the protocol for my family when I was 15 years old, and I had my When I was 15 years old.
Go ahead, Mel. I'm sorry.
When I was 15 years old and I had my first kiss, and I just knew he was going to be my future husband. You know, he introduced this amusement park, you know, trip. A group trip to an amusement park. I didn't know any of these high school children from a can of paint. I just knew that I had to, you know, develop him. And my father, being as protective as he is, the boy called and he said, so are we still on for going to, quote unquote, the name I won't mention, amusement park? It was a big deal in the Midwest. Anyway, I said, well, I haven't asked my father yet. And he said, well, when are you going to ask him? And I asked him right there in front of him. I asked him if I could go to this trip with a bunch of high school kids. And he said, who's that on the phone with you, a boy? I said, yes, sir. And he said, give me the phone. And I gave him the phone. He said, when am I going to meet you and your father? And from what I discerned, that was a short conversation, you know. And he called back, you know, a day or two later saying, wow, your father is really hard about, you know, somebody trying to get with you. And so it is important for a father to protect his daughter, because as it turned out, that young boy was a womanizer. So, you know, my father being the guardian of my purity was a good thing. So I would, you know, I would suggest that fathers be the guardian. You know, they just have to guard their daughter's purity. They just have to do that. That's their job.
They can't. It's not possible. You can't. Because you know who's the
Hey,
biggest
speaking of,
hold on. You know who's the biggest obstacle to that is, Mella? The mother. So
Mm.
basically, when you say that, what I'm hearing, it's like a horse. You can't properly ride a horse until you break it. So, and most black men are not willing
I
to.
didn't mention my mother.
I'm not talking about your mother. I'm talking about in today's era. You're not in the same era that I'm in now,
Oh,
and it's been like that. It's been like that for a while now. That's the situation because there is no, well, a man just has to protect the purity. The person is gonna intercept that shit is gonna be the mother. That's what I'm saying. That's see in the situation
It
you
was that way in
see
my era.
if
It was
I
so
that
were
way
to
in
there.
my
dig
era.
in,
in
yeah, if I
mine
were to
too.
dig in,
Hmm.
and if I were
So
to
we're
dig
talking
in
about we're
to
going back to the single motherhood thing again, right?
No,
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 it's
no,
not
no,
no,
about
we're
no,
no.
no, no.
not.
We're
Not
talking
single
about
mother.
even
No, we're
in
not.
marriages. I
No.
mean,
Like,
I didn't say nothing about single motherhood
Because I can't relate
because,
to this. I
well,
can't
you
well, I
got.
relate to
mean,
Well,
that.
you
just
can't
because
relate
Mela,
to
again,
it. That doesn't
yeah,
mean
Mela,
you
Mela.
accept it.
and that's fine. But here's the thing, Melo,
Hold
just
on,
like
Edward.
tripping me
Edward,
out
let me
about.
let me say one thing.
Edward,
Hold
Edward,
on.
Edward, Edward. It's not
It
your
be
show, man.
yeah, it'd be 2 seconds, Edward. It'll be two
All right,
seconds. Because this is for Mela and anybody else that's listening. When you're talking about the black community, single motherhood is gonna come up because we got a community full of them. So it's hard to talk about anything without
man.
bringing them up too. That's all I
I
want to say.
don't. That's cool. I don't even need to go there. That's how. Like I don't even. We can take them off the table. Like I will take them off the table because I haven't said nothing about single mothers yet, and I probably won't.
She ready to fight.
My thing is this. I get and I can believe that that wasn't your experience. I can believe that. But just because, I'll ask you this, Melum. Do you is your experience even in your era? Do you think that was the rule or the exception as far as the way your relationship was with your parents were?
I I don't know.
All right, no,
I don't know.
that's a good answer. That's a good
I've
answer.
met all kinds. Yeah,
That's
I've
actually a
met all
good
kinds
answer.
of women. I don't know.
That's an honest answer because when people are in the I don't know never shows up and when people are in denial. Because if you don't know, then people tend to look at, okay, what is this really going on? Like I didn't just come out the gate knowing like how the black what was the top down view of how the black community was looked at when it comes to data and when it comes to like what everybody's looking at their own experience and they'll say, well, if this is in my experience, it's got to be the majority has to be like mine. But when you understand that the system is not working the way it should be, then you have to look, okay, why is it not working? If everything is done the way it's done, then it should be working. So my point is this: you based on how you tell that story, the men and people here could probably give a good understanding as to who ran the household and why. He was a protector. He did what he handled his business. That's obvious. Um, and that is credit to your mother as well. I always tell people that if a woman knows how to accept a man's position to lead, and then she knows how to put her input when she needs to, and when she wants to get something out of it, that's credit to that woman because it just doesn't happen. That's a decision that woman makes as well. So the point that I'm saying is not about blaming the women. It's about saying, look, these women are choosing these relationships that they want to be into. They're choosing them. So when a daughter is not protected, a woman chooses the father for her children. So this is not
Hmm.
about laying blame. This is about saying that it's not something that just either happens or it doesn't happen because the man. And this idea that if men just assert their will, I don't really think black women really. I'm not talking about you because obviously you came from a household, so you know what that looks like. So that means you knew how to replicate it. What I'm talking about is for the women that don't know when they say that and when they hear you how they interpret it. And I'm done after this 10 seconds. They don't really know what that means because to me, what that means is either pick somebody that I'm not going to have to break because I don't break females. I'm not going to jail. I'm not dealing with that. Or a dude that's willing to do that will have to break that woman. Now, what that means, I leave it to somebody's imagination because I honestly don't know because I don't go that route. But it's not something where if a man just do it, the woman is just going to accept him doing it because she's going to do what we've been talking about. She's going to fucking intercept the fucking football. She's on your team and then she's gonna turn around and be a cornerback and you thought you was dealing with a wide receiver, and then be like, well, if he just did this, I mean, that's how it goes. But it is what it is. Oh, I don't know if
Well,
she just left or dropped off or whatever, but
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. She dropped off, but
Well, this is seen as me being biased, and it's not biased. This is what it is,
No,
and
no, you
and it.
just no.
She
Go
I
ahead.
mean, I'm
Go
not.
ahead.
she said she
Yeah,
didn't know. So what is she squawking about if she said she didn't know?
well, I mean, but and I get it, but that's the issue is it's either folks don't know, which that's a better answer than people just acting like they know and being in denial. But at the same time, there's a reason why the shit is the way it is. It's not some shit where it's just, if men just assert themselves and do this and do this, the first thing that men are gonna have to assert themselves with is the females, not the children.
The thing is that when you think, I think is I find unusual that you're raised in a black community around all different types of black people, and this is common in the black community. You never see it. I have a hard time
I'm
believing
trying to
that.
be nice. I'm
It's
trying to be
just,
nice though.
and people said, "Oh, I never see it." So were you raised in a white community where you never saw it? Because if you're raised in a black community, you have black friends, you're gonna see it.
Yeah, if
You,
you
it,
Ruby, I could
Mm-hmm.
believe it. If you Ruby, I could believe that. If you in like Canada or some shit, I could kind of believe that.
well,
But
no, Ruby said she's seen it because she talked about how how the Jamaican mothers would lock up the food cabinet and give the girl the key, and so the only way
yeah.
the boys could get food is they have to go through the girl.
Well, I mean, and that's another reason why we don't ever get nowhere with this shit, because at the end of the day, and this is not about me trying to assert that I'm smart. I don't give a shit about that. But at the end of the day, when women, I'm not talking about even Mela, I'm talking about in general. They ask these questions about why this, why that. Even like Madame Noir is always built on the fucking question, like why is this way? Why is this that way? I'm like, y'all already know. It's just we can't get past the denial. And to be fair, even like think of all y'all didn't get in denial about what I said about the submissive husband shit. I said about 70% of the 33% of black men that are married are basically, I won't say cucks, they're basically in submissive situations. Y'all didn't sit there, I don't know, I ain't never seen that. Y'all look, young blood, let me act like I'm older than you, pull that
Mm-hmm.
bullshit card out. No, y'all agreed. So
Yeah, I
and I
agree with
did that first. I did that first, and then so you can even see how y'all responded versus how. That's a perfect example.
Well,
Shit,
I'm
but
gonna say
anyway.
this. The only thing I'm gonna say that I can't agree with is me. I blame women. I blame women for everything women do. Because at the end of the day, we can't get to a level of accountability between the men and the women unless you blame everybody for what they did. Now I know that bothers a lot of women, but at the end of the day, you make these unilateral decisions and you think I'm supposed to just act like you did. Nah, I ain't going there with you. I blame you for everything you did because I live in a world that has no problem blaming me for everything I do. And I literally just
yeah,
told
yeah.
to a home the other day.
Black men have been trained to be submissive to their women. This is not new. They've been socialized to do that. And the thing is, it takes either you have an unusual family, or basically you have to grow up and rebel against it. You have a lot of black guys that rebel against this stuff. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
and then it's seen that you're a problem. You're a cultural problem, not necessarily. This is why I was just on Facebook talking about homosexuality is about to go up. I said some women just got their shit together about to get some of the great best sex they ever gonna get. That desperate dick is probably the best sex. I don't know, but I would assume so.
yeah.
Dude gonna put some effort in it.
I mean, you hear it all over the place. Where do you think black women learned to talk to black men like that? It didn't just come out of nowhere. They didn't just grow up and decided, oh, one day I'm just going to talk to black men all crazy and outside of their neck. They've been brought up that way. They've seen
Well, the
their
narrative. The
grandmother.
narrative is once upon a time, black men said "fuck it," and then black women had to assert their. They had to step in because black men said "fuck
Yeah.
it" for some reason. Nobody says how and what. Basically, the
Until you start
gynocratic Genesis story.
until you start showing the receipts about black women and their attitudes going back to the 40s, man. That's not new. This ain't
Yeah.
new. This is documented. What black women are. My grandma was born in 1910. She's just like that. I love her to
And,
death, but she was just like that.
and the thing about it is, all it is. is when folks say, look, a lot of black men let this shit happen too, as far as, you know, they accepted it. Because this sound like Roger, I think, but really, black men should have went SYSBM like a long time. I understand the gates weren't down.
Yeah,
The gates weren't down. So let me say that. But or at least black men should have been withholding marriage. They should have been. They shouldn't have did the stepdaddy shit. They should have been doing some shit. I'm not you get what I'm saying. But maybe they could say that it wasn't as overt because, and it wasn't as overt back then. Not as it is like right now. I really think these millennial females are off the goddamn chain. It started with the Gen Xers, but really the millennial women are off the goddamn chain, and that's where they really fucked up. Most black men would still be asleep if I, let's say I was sitting here and I was with a panel with all women and I just didn't want to get cussed out, but I still wanted to stay true to, like, you know, how I am. I would have said real talk. If it wouldn't have been for the millennial women just not understanding how to keep the game going and just acting like this shit was magic, we still be dealing with the stepdaddy situation. It was basically these young girls putting their hand on the fucking hands on the stove, and enough dudes said, ow, this hurts. They really fucked it up. Like, I can show you examples of women that they know how to, quote unquote, check other women. They know how to create that content, but they created just enough to keep dudes really believing they own your team. That's how you used to do it. You used to check, like what Derrick Jackson does. You used to check, like, you take this extreme, this just off the rails of a female doing some crazy shit, and you would check that because you know only like 1% of women do that shit. And then that's a way to seem like, oh, I'm still part of the team. And then men would still be like, yeah, man, you know, I could negotiate because look, man, she checked that crazy shit. Even though that's not really what goes on, and really, that's what they used to do. But these millennial women are goofy. They fucked the game up. They really fucked the game up. Black men were on autopilot. Millennial women fucked the game up, and that's what I would say to a panel full of women, and they probably agree with that shit.
It's probably more than mamas that did it.
It started with Gen Xers because I think what it was is Gen Xers probably got the best of the welfare state, because you got motherfuckers that live and died on the welfare state being broodmares.
It started before that, man. It started before
okay,
Gen X.
okay. So the Gen X was like the full generation.
Started with the boomers, but the thing is, this goes all the way back. Yeah, it started with the boomers, man. I'm telling you, we got the day boomers.
Yeah, and then the millennial women, they just assumed this shit was never going to go away, and then they just acted like, and then they fucked it up.
They're following the program. My daughter still follows the program from not only her mother, who's a boomer, but also her grandmother, who's a silent generation. This goes back, man. This is not new. It's not new.
I'm only saying it became when it became so overt. I think that you can safely blame Gen X for making it so overt.
Yeah.
That men just didn't want to deal with it.
But we talk about programming though. Didn't it start with the minstrel shows of the 1920s and 30s?
I mean, it started early, but I'm talking about where they got stupid about it.
This started way back with emancipation. It started in slavery. This pattern was set in slavery, man. No, not with slavery. How far back you want to go, man?
No. I'm just saying further than what I mentioned.
Oh yeah,
the minstrel shows.
No. The minstrel shows are later, man. No, this is minstrel shows. Just art imitates life, not vice versa.
Yeah. Okay.
So the fucking woman and that shiftless Negro.
Speaking of female leadership, I put a Facebook.
Let Kev get in.
No, it's cool, but what I was speaking about the minstrel shows is whenever they depicted a black couple, first off, they didn't even let a black man play it. They made a white man in blackface, and they always depicted, like, whenever they were depicted in couples, they would get the big, mammy type black woman, and they always had her with the mean stone face. She was always aggressive, mean as fuck. Treated her husband like he didn't matter, and the husband type, which was the black face, he always had whenever he got scared, he turned yellow. He didn't stand on anything. He was basically a coward. So while it doesn't date back as far as that, it definitely contributed to the programming that we see today.
I mean, but the thing is, they're copying what they've seen, man. The mammy is real because the mammies used to be the wet nurse. And
they did that shit. They did that shit on C.J. Walker. The fucking shit.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Did y'all see that? Y'all see that Netflix
Oh no! Once I hear
thing?
black women talking shit about another black female documentary, once I see multiple black women saying that's hard garbage, oh, I already know it's a piece of shit. It's got to be because it ain't Red Pill.
Oh, hey,
It was the
I
same
watched
chick
I
that
watched a
made the
couple of
Harriet bull.
episodes.
It was the same chick that made the Harriet bullshit. That's all I need
wa-
to know. And then I need to waste my
Yeah,
time.
I watched a couple of episodes and I was like, man, because I was like, okay, the CJ man of CJ Walker, and then when I seen the situation where how she was treating CJ and with the daughter and all that stuff, I was
Mhm.
like, oh man, I see
Oh
where
yeah,
this is going.
that's common.
Yeah, Netflix lucky I got some other shit I watch because I'd be like, fuck Netflix. But shout out to Apple. They released that Banker and that shit, from what I hear, I ain't heard nothing but good shit about that.
Excellent movie. Excellent movie.
So shout Apple really puts their money when they actually been putting their money in the stuff that they've been putting out. Not to say Netflix doesn't, but they did that off the gate versus a lot of people get stupid with they shit. But shit, now it's rumors. I remember BGS. I told y'all that like a couple years ago back when I was really on your channel like that. Apple really might go for it and get Disney.
Well,
Oh yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
was just
say
about to
this.
mention that.
They're gonna buy Disney. Oh, that will be
They
cool if
might
can
make
do.
that. They got the money.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
why Disney?
Disney got a
No,
ton
like
of
you hearing more Hollywood people actually. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I don't think it is, but it's getting a lot closer than otherwise would have been.
Disney got a ton of money, and basically they have a ton of
Oh, they ain't
properties.
got Apple money.
We don't know how much.
Disney's worth like 250 or 60 billion dollars.
That's
Like
Apple money. That's
yeah,
Apple money.
Apple's got that cash almost. It's just a matter if they want to deal with the headache. I think personally they should just go ahead and stick with what the fuck they got and just work with that. But
If they did, they probably wind up in antitrust court.
Let me say this about the Banker
that's what
movie.
I'm saying exactly. Yep, go ahead.
When it comes to the Banker, I don't like that they did that because at the end of the day, the movie was in theaters. And what's a good way to say the movie didn't perform well? Now that the theaters closed down, now you make it, you release it on another platform.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, people aren't going to go back to the movies and see it. And you can say this movie was a bomb, and because it was a black movie. With and I know Samuel L. Jackson was an executive producer on it. I saw that when I was at the theater too. So you're trying to say that good black movies don't perform well?
Yeah.
It's a slick way of doing that.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. The thing is, we can go around them, so it doesn't matter.
And Apple, it was kind of like an Apple production as well. So it was gonna go. It was one of those things where it was always gonna go to the platform. They were gonna put it in the movies first, and then they withheld it also because of that fucking fake ass controversy. And then the coronavirus happened. So Apple knows what's going to be with their platform. They know they got black people that's got their products. And like I said, Apple's got an advantage nobody else has because they have a built-in base. Like a lot of people don't realize that Apple, the majority of money that Apple makes their money on is really cloud services. It's iCloud. And YouTube is already broke how to do cloud DVR storage. Apple could kind of do that and give people a reason to amplify their iCloud because right now they got 2 terabytes of storage you can get for $10. It used to be $20, but it's 10. That's actually a really, really good deal when you compare it to everybody else.
As far as cloud, it's Google, it's Amazon, it's Microsoft, and then it's everybody else.
Yeah. So, but so I mean, as far as you're right about that. But what I'm saying is, as far as the selling of, and that's even true for the selling of cloud. But what I'm saying is, Apple's unique business model would be they have the built-in space. So if they could tap into the cloud DVR storage, then they give people a reason to not have, because most people don't need more than a 50 gigabyte for $1, and then it's the $2 for $2.99. It has to be high now. But anyway, it's don't get me started. It's fucking coronavirus, man. I'm already. I'm gonna be at home so much more than what I want to be. It's like I'm in a prison cell, man.
It is what it is,
anyway,
man.
No, I gotta work. Well, I'm working from home for real now, like for real. Yeah. But at least I'm still getting paid.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you a person that gets cabin fever easily?
You know he
No,
does.
no, I don't. I don't. I don't. No, I don't. I mean, no, I don't.
Well, I don't
But
know. You
I
know,
know
you know,
they
man.
better give me my check. They better give me my fucking check though. On the damn Trump bucks.
No, the banks are gonna stay open. Those that ain't no. There's not supposed to
No,
be a
no, no.
change in the bank.
I'm talking about the government check. I'm talking about this the money they talk about.
Hmm.
They people fucking with it. But I wish I could have got on your stream BGS when Ramil and them was on there. Cause Ramil boy, he didn't want to hear that shit. I'm like, nigga, this shit in your face, man. Like, they
That's
ain't
what
gonna do no UBI. They ain't gonna do. Hey, BGS, you should have called it the "I told you so" show. What? Where the black conservatives at? Where the Captain America's at? Where all these motherfuckers
they
at?
they
Talk about ain't.
they'll find they'll. It's always something, man. They're gonna move
I
the goalposts. Like I said, I just uploaded one and said I'm getting tired of y'all, man. You guys fight over every little scrap that I said. Every little scrap. Like the video I put up was like 20 seconds about them moving equipment. I said it's gonna get real. It's like every I said, really? Oh, BGS, you spreading propaganda. I didn't make the video. I just put it up. You spreading propaganda. You spreading fear.
like, well,
So,
how's it propaganda? I mean, it's either like this tanks. You can read into that what you want. I mean,
yeah.
when do you see tanks like that getting transported on fucking trains and shit? Like seeing De Blasio. Blasio is so over his fucking head, man. You can tell his wife probably run his ass too with a black woman, um, because he can't handle it. He cannot handle all those cases, man. Cuomo said he's got to step in, man. So. That's funny. But anyway, I'm glad I'm in the South.
Yeah.
Well,
Fucking Rand
I,
Paul and caught the
I
coronavirus. Anyway, go ahead.
I plan to be here and watch this black swan fly away. That's what I plan to do.
Well, you hopefully it'll fly away without too much damage. If not, if it decides to stay and reproduce, you're going to have hell on wheels. Then you might as well get ready for the last days as far as America is concerned.
Oh,
But you know what? America's been
BGS, you
around.
can't say that.
America been around about. Well, I looked at documentaries when it comes to history. They say a free society stays around about 250 years.
Mm-hmm.
We already kind of hit that point. So if it changes, and I know everybody say, well, America ain't going nowhere. Regimes change every day. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Regimes change. That's just how
Mm-hmm.
it goes.
And,
We better wake up.
yeah, you gotta how we like. I hate to say this, but us as a people, for the most part, at least now, very emotionally weak. So you can only go so far when it comes to shit like that, and that's not just women, that's men. Hell, a lot of stuff. To be honest with you, outside of this relationship bullshit, the women take to it a lot easier than the men do. To be fair, it's just with this bullshit that it counts. That the women are just in denial because they just want to hold on hope that you just gonna act like them being in denial is gonna work. And I'm like, okay, you can do
They
that.
can't be in denial when they're fighting over toilet tissue.
Yeah,
Well,
they not in denial, and
Mm.
women know exactly what they're doing. And I always say men should give them credit for knowing exactly what they're doing. You
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
cannot be this successful in trying to make sure a culture stays damaged unless you're clearly doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Anything in a free society that's more than 50% is voluntary.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank. Period. To me.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask panel a question. Um, when they talk about black male leadership and black men leading, what do you exactly think that they're talking about?
Following orders.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's them blaming us and us following orders. I mean, look, Mella's fine, but she even subtly said that. I just let it go. She subtly, well, men, just protect. Women to just magically do what the fuck they're supposed to do. And I'm like, in your childhood, that's not really what happened. Like structurally, your mother, your father, and your mother were on the same fucking page. She knew what her lane was. He fulfilled his lane. And that's how it works. But a lot of women don't know what the fuck their lane is, and it's obvious when you talk to them. Like other women can talk, like what you said with Ruby. Because shout out to Ruby, Crimson Cure. Like when you talk to them and let them talk, it's very obvious what lane they're trying to occupy. It's obvious. Now, if you're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna be for the sisterhood, and then act like that shit ain't what's going on, then that's fine. Like Shahrazad Ali says some real shit. Women don't really promote her because she tells too much of the fucking truth. She said the biggest secret is that black women need black men more than black men need black women. You can't tell that to the average black woman. Or the shit that women purposely convert us. That's why when Danielle was talking about that secret shit, you telling our secrets. I'm like, black men ain't got no secrets from black women like that. We're very transparent. When even if we're lying to you, we're still transparent. You ain't gonna tell me a nigga's a womanizer and you didn't know he was a womanizer. That's a lie. I don't want to hear that shit. Not today.
That's why she picked him, because he's a womanizer. Same reason you dudes pick
verified.
Yeah.
He's verified. She's verified.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say this. This is a question I got for people ask. This gonna start talking about with my because Elise does that too with her. Well, my grandfather. I got a question. I'm gonna say I got a question, Elise. Do you think your grandfather will get pussy today? Being exactly how he is.
That's how she says he is, and she met him when he was her grandfather, not when he was young.
Oh, that's true.
I give you a bit of advice too. I would give you a bit of advice. Never trust what a black woman says a black man said or did. They're not gonna say it the same way. They're gonna put whatever spin they want to put on it. If you really want to know what they did, you gotta ask them. You can't just listen to the words of the
to me,
average
that's
black
like
woman.
another tactic. My dad. Now all these women got dads now.
Yeah, well, she does have a dad, but I'm not gonna tell the story about her and her dad. Okay, because she did tell that story.
Well, I'm talking about people in general. I ain't even talking about her. Like now, they go from I didn't know my father to now it's
Dad been there the whole time. No, I get it. I know what you said there, Edward. And I say I don't know Elisa's story, but I'm gonna say when it comes to Kev's question about black women in leadership, their thing is they want men to be out front as a leader, to take all the negative stuff that comes with it. But if it's something good, they want it, and they truly want to run stuff from behind the scenes.
It's like the church.
Even with Mella, when she just said that her and her husband talked to their son. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think she meant nothing negative by it. But my thing is this: why was she even in the room, other than to monitor what the man was saying?
Do you really believe that Mella's a submissive woman?
That shit. What is it when you get child? Hold on, no. Roger, I don't mean to cut you off.
Do you really believe that Mella's a submissive woman? Where's she learning this stuff from?
Hey, Roger. That shit was a supervised visit. That's what that was. That's what that was. Like she in the room. That's. And ask me how I know that. That's a fucking guardian ad litem. That's supervised visit. That's what the fuck that is. Like, and by the way, that's the same thing when white men people wouldn't let black men ever be gather, and it's not a white person present. That's why it's always wanting to be a white person in every industry. Like, it's the same shit. It's the same playbook, and we call it out again. It's not me being biased. I'm like, if I'm wrong, bring me the counter info. I don't say this shit because I gotta be right. I'm looking for somebody to give me some shit I don't know. Or get not that I know everything, but you get what I'm saying. And then BGS does it. I fucking move it, kick it around, and then I either agree with it or I don't. But it is what it is. But I don't sit there and be like, oh well, it don't matter what fact BGS bring. I'm fucking right. Da 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 da. I don't do that shit. But
no, I don't
speaking of getting off the propaganda and getting off the bus. I had to get off the Jason Black bus, man. Yo, I was listening to Jason Black. I mean, I fuck with Jason Black. I'm not saying I fuck with him no more. But like that video he was making he was basically making it like this bitch gonna be the purge. It's about to be race war. He act like this dude act like a basket. He had them commentators commentating on a sport. He act like he commentating on the race war in real time, taking calls. I listened to that shit 25 minutes. I said, Jason, dude, you gonna make me start drinking. I can't do this, man.
A race war.
the way he didn't use that term, but the way he made it said, "Oh man, these white people, they about to target blacks. Look, they got black," as if black people the only people that's quarantined. I'm like, what, dude? What the fuck are you talking about? And people call it, yeah, man, it's crazy. You know, they try to change the Constitution so they can put back slavery and shit. Like that's how these niggas was sounding. I was like, dude, all right, man, you're not giving me the information I need. You on this? You look, a prophet hopes to be wrong. Prophet hopes to be wrong, but I'm like, all right.
What?
Yeah,
I'm gonna skip this. I'm gonna skip
and
this.
I'm negative, huh? And I'm negative, huh?
And the same people that say you negative, right? Listen to his ass.
Yeah, they do.
Because they be in the chat. I be seeing Taz and them in the chat. Jason actually almost threatened to kick Taz out one time. You said some shit. I don't know. Oh my god, man. Oh.
Taz probably said I've been kicked out of better places.
Oh, don't get me started on that. I said, to get your Trump check, you either got to be employed and you got to be in America. So you gotta come back, get that.
We ain't gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, no, my bad. You say somebody's name 3 times, they show up. You showed up when I said your name 3 times. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You did, did he not?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because basically I was referencing your work because Mel is older than me, so I was like, this ain't just me snotting those kids talking shit. Like this is shit you talked about with the BGS for women. That's why when you came on, I said that I wasn't trying to instigate that, and I was like, oh, you're here, okay.
And he showed right up.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I had just finished the uploading the video, so
yeah, I saw that in my notification on my phone. At least you ain't been blackballed like that yet.
Yeah, it seems like in March they always start this stuff. YouTube starts this kind of crap, and then by summertime it's all over. Like,
yeah, next thing you know, Aaron Fountain is gonna have like fucking 30,000 subscribers. They gonna say
we're gonna promote this too.
We're gonna promote this fuckery.
No, but basically he has to, if he wants that kind of following, he has to get on YouTube. But then you don't want to do that because that would set him up.
Well, my thing is, has anyone confirmed he's even a man?
Well, according to his picture, we know nobody's ever met him in person. Well, the thing is that they looked up his. I've had professors look up his record, so he is a guy.
Okay.
So they've looked up his school record. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not saying it ain't a guy. Of course, a guy shut us out, especially if he's of the single mother variety. Because,
but evidently, he is deep into, how can I say, the alphabet community.
Oh,
I believe that.
Yeah, he described various channels as black anti-feminist, and for those of us out there. Oh, Melo's back. But for those of us out there, I would be honored if I were called a black anti-feminist. So I mean, I'm kind of jealous.
I'm always called a misogynistic. I'm like, are you fucking like people kill? I'm like, Roger will tell you, and I'll be like, okay, what did I say that was misogynistic? Because correct. Look, I come from the call center world, so when you say somebody did something wrong, you play the call, you show them where they fucked up, you give them corrective action to fix it. But when I say, okay, what did I say is misogynistic? I don't know. You just gave a misogynistic energy. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
I don't say. I said when they tell me I'm a misogynist, I say good. That means I'm getting through to you. I wear it proudly. It's
always this misogynistic energy. I'm like, what the? I say, okay, have you heard of Minister Jap? I'm gonna show you some misogynistic energy.
It's called truth.
I guess
it's called truth.
If it's misogynistic, is it true? That's all I care about. Is it true or not?
Minister Jab talk about black men got to get a handle on this transsexual energy. Apparently, that's the answer. That's what the issue is. See, I call it gynocracy. He calls it transsexual energy.
And then, in other words, they're acting like men. That's what he's trying to say. And too many of them looking at Disney princesses and all that kind of stuff, beating up,
I'm done for a second.
250-pound guys, and women think they can do that.
Remember the BGS, the chick that I showed, or she's not a chick. I don't know why I keep saying this shit.
Call her
The
chick.
person that I showed on Madame Noir, and she was in the middle of the other two black women.
Mm-hmm. They were just as comfortable.
And yeah, and so apparently, dudes, she is really good at getting black men. She is really like she got one dude who was messing with her on the low, and she put him on blast.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Why
the
did-
dude got a baby mama, all about to get married. I'm like,
Uh,
oh, you Malik Yoba niggas.
Man, those them dudes been around, man, forever. Okay, they know. The thing is that the transsexuals had the class not to put that out there. And
I
whatever.
like the feminine aesthetic. Malik
Yeah,
Yoba said Tank said that shit with a straight face too. I'm like, I'm glad. I never liked
they,
Tank. I
they,
never liked
you know,
Tank.
people in showbiz that have been messing with these kind of folks for a long time, but they had the actually foresight or actually the class not to actually put these people's names out there like that. But with these kind of folks now with social media, it said you just ruin it for yourself because now nobody's gonna touch you.
Oh, they same thing with Dwayne Dwayne Wade's son. Man.
Yeah.
That shit's child abuse.
Yeah,
Cookies
it
and
is.
milk. Just milk and
And
cookies. Oh,
and by the way,
Yeah.
that's all Dwayne Wayne's fault. Oh, what about Gabrielle Union? That dude went out of his way to get Gabrielle Union's 10 years his senior. That nigga went out his way to get Gabrielle Union. He knew what she was about. He married her. He did. That's all his fault. That's all his fault. All of it. The chick before him was crazy. All his fault.
Well, not, with the chick
Child
before
abuse.
the chick before him, you talking about his wife.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
against
his
it, ain't
ex-wife
But,
was crazy.
is that,
Yeah.
but his ex-wife he met his ex-wife in high school.
Well, yeah.
she?
And
She
that's how
against all
you
that
know.
stuff, right?
Yeah, she is against all that stuff.
Well, she's against all that stuff, but she was on some other shit.
Oh yeah, well
But
she's nuts, but yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's
Some
that's my, as
dudes
far as
like
I'm concerned, that shit's borderline molestation.
some dudes like
What
crazy women.
did,
Yes.
Hell, his
what
mama was
did his
crazy.
first wife do?
Yes.
Hell, his mama's crazy. So that's how come he had to
What
his
did
daddy had to come rescue him.
what did his first
Huh?
wife do?
What are you saying?
His first
What is-
wife.
She's
What was it?
nuts, but she liked to do drugs.
You didn't see her in front of the court building in her hair weave and
Mella,
her
this is what I'll
pantyhose
say.
and,
This is what I'll
and
say.
saying that she was homeless.
Dwayne, they made it extremely easy for Dwayne Wade to get them kids. They basically said, yeah, you need to take them. That's basic. Now,
That's what they did.
when the courts do that,
Oh,
that's all that needs to be said.
Yeah, she's nuts.
Yeah, they
Well,
basically
she made it
said,
too. She made it too obvious.
Yeah, she did make
You
it too
know,
obvious.
once you go outside in front of the courtroom, when they can just take a picture of you and walk right in there and say, "Yeah, she out here acting crazy again."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They basically put the court in a position where they really couldn't do anything else.
and they got tired of it. They got so tired of it, they didn't even want Dwayne Wade's money. They said, no, you take them.
You just take them, yeah. She's nuts.
But
Yeah, I
now
think-
you start to see what Dwayne Wade was on. Because he's been on.
And his mama was nuts. So hey, that's what he likes.
Usher was like that too.
You know what? Speaking of this situation, you know what's funny? The people's fake outrage when it was like, they didn't support him supporting his son coming out, but his other son does poorly in a basketball game, and he doesn't want to support that. So couldn't we see that as a bunch of fake outrage?
Oh yeah, what's the same
And
thing with
black
T.I.
women-
when they had fake outrage about T.I. wanting to protect his daughter. I'm glad Mella's back. That's a perfect example of black man protecting his daughter. T.I. Everybody had some shit to say about it, including a lot of black men. That are in the fucking programming. Oh man,
as most of that was white feminists saying that her body should be her own and that stuff like that. She's 18 years old. She could just leave home. She can say, I don't want your money. I don't want anything from you. I'm just gonna leave. And because she's 18, she's grown up person.
And that's another good example. I don't go out my way to say bad shit about Tiny, but Tiny is not like the model wife. But when it comes to them kids, Tiny they on the same page. And that's a perfect, and I actually like bringing up Tiny because Tiny in other areas is not the greatest. She may be like C- at best, and everything else. But when it comes to understanding that this dude cares about he cares about our kids and whatever fuck shit we doing, when it comes to that shit, we create a united front. Because outside of that, she do what the fuck she want to do when she want to do it. The Floyd Mayweather situation is a perfect example. But when it comes to them kids, she knows how to play her role, and that's a good modern kind of understanding. So it's not it's just they just can't do it. It's a decision.
But what gives them a right to have to say so? That's his daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
no,
Because,
absolutely.
That's his daughter. That's his job. That's his daughter. He taking care of his daughter. He protecting his daughter.
Because he's a public figure, and that's where he makes his money in the public, and they're gonna comment on it.
Yeah, and then that's when you get things like, what does that represent? A black man being a protector is a problem even in the black community. Black women, for the most part, only want you to be a protector when they call on you. It's kind of like a German shepherd. It's kind of like a dog that barks, even though the dog may smell danger and you don't. They only want you to bark when they yank your chain to bark. Go bite them. Other than that, sit their ass down and play dead to do something.
But that's his baby.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I get that, but that doesn't matter. Not even to the black community, but to the greater society, a black man doesn't have kids. The woman, those are those woman's kids. A black man is just there.
Yeah, they complain about him wanting to make sure that his daughter keeps her virginity as long as possible, but they don't say nothing about all those parents selling their daughters to R. Kelly at 13, 14 years old.
Yeah, that's how it's called toxic masculinity.
Well, son is just making a good point, because I agree with it. At the end of the day, it is his kid, but that was like a warning shot for other black men to say, "Hey, don't think your kids are yours." That's what they really was. It was a warning shot.
And the logic, the morality of it is irrelevant. This is when you have to understand what your rank is. It's the same thing with Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg was probably right in what he said, but you see how they got checked. Not even just that, Lil Boosie too. Lil Boosie, Planet Fitness, he could have sued Planet Fitness for what they did, to be honest. Because especially when you understand how he worded it. Because Lil Boosie, this is a Southern dude who even said if he gay, let him be gay, but don't sit here and force that on him. So you can't say what he said was homophobic. But he didn't, because again, that's how. Because if he would have sued them, they probably would have made that hard for him to get his money in other ways. So, that's the thing, and it's like it's very obvious. It's obvious now. This is like fuck. Anyway,
well, my point is,
the thing is,
there is. Go ahead, son. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying it kills me, because it's like, you say it's her child, but then again, when it comes down to it, when she, like we was going with the abortion thing, she can have abortion when she want to. I ain't got no say so. Or when she want to have a baby, I ain't got no say so. But then when the baby's here, and I got to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because they're unaccountable.
Because
they don't.
Because the state says you got to pay for it.
The state says I have to pay for it, and I'm responsible. And if I miss a payment, I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
And the answer to that is, well, if you men, why don't you men get together with other races of men and you all just change the law, which is kind of code for you too weak to change it, so just deal with it. I don't even need to argue on it. Is it fair or not fair?
I was having that conversation with Chaos Rain earlier tonight.
Now go ahead.
Okay.
It was fascinating.
Somebody was about to say no.
Yeah, that's how they hit us. They hit us with that shit. Go ahead.
Yeah, let her finish your thought. It was
that was my thought. It was fascinating. It was fascinating only because I was allowed to espouse.
I'm just throwing questions out there. Go ahead.
I was allowed to espouse.
Is that
my
Mills
thought.
talking?
Yeah, that's Mella talking, baby. Can you hear me?
Hello.
He can't hear you.
We hear you, son. I think you can't hear Mella.
Son.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can't hear her.
Yeah, they were the ones. They were the ones that threw that shit out at me. What I mentioned. So I'm curious of what they said.
I'll come back. I'll log off and come back.
I think okay.
I think that's him. I think that's him.
I'm gonna say this.
I can hear you. Well, like I said, they. I'll go ahead.
When it comes down to it, there's nothing but fake outrage.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about the black community, there's no point. There's no way to believe if you just got regular common sense, don't believe black women are outraged about anything. When the way they treat their own kids, the way they
Mm-hmm.
treat their own men, the
Mm-hmm.
lack of morality they show in their everyday life,
Mm-hmm.
and how they flip flop from one thing to the other because they stay being double minded. There's nothing that they're outraged about because they accept anything at the moment. You know what I'm saying? So people who will accept anything at the moment, you can't tell me you're outraged about anything because I don't
Well,
believe you.
well, going back to what Mela said, like that's where they tried to throw that shit at. It was one other panel where when we started to drill down to it, it really came down to, I think it was on Mr. Fantastic. It really came down to that's what it's gonna be and what the fuck you gonna do about it. And what people don't understand when you say shit like that is this is why y'all ain't protected, because at the end of the day, dude, now you've established yourself as we're not really on the same team. That's just some shit you say in order to get what you want because you can't find nobody better that you want to do it. Like I'm talking about collectively, right? And so when dudes really start to see that, that becomes a real like light bulb moment. And this is why a lot of dudes are starting to check out more and more and more, or they're starting to be talk about pumping and dumping, be more about ruthless about getting what the fuck they want because they're playing about how they're shown. And because that's how a lot of women feel. At the end of the day, they really feel like it's their baby and they don't want to be brought out to say it because they know how bad that sounds. Because then it's like, okay, well, that makes sense why nobody fucks with you or they just pump and dump you because that's what you put out there. I mean, that's the value
Well,
you
now
give. So
let me say this
Now,
because I was talking to my friend about this just the other day. When it comes down to it, when it comes to these relationships and these kids and all that, women play games, and no man should care that a woman lost. When you start playing games, there got to
yep.
be a winner. There's got to be a loser. If you lost as a woman, so what?
Yeah, and then
definitely.
that's why they always frame things like they're the victim. They always frame it like a dude just swept in there and did this. Like I remember Rashida Schroeder, she sat there and she was like, "Oh well, most black women want to be married," and I mean, yeah, I'm like you. No, here's the funny thing about it: all the other women were actually answering the question honestly. She was the only one. Like I even asked, I said, "Is colorism?" Who is the main progenitor of colorism? And they was like, what do you mean? Is it women or is it men in a family or whatever? And all the women said it was the women except for Rashida.
Mhm.
And Rashida, we had the other question was, okay, so Rashida, you really telling this is what Rashida said, y'all. Hold on. I said, so Rashida, are you really telling me? Because she said something before that. So I said, are you really telling me that these dudes are agreeing to have a child? They are not giving you an indication that they would prefer not to have a child. But when the baby comes, it's kind of like marriage where they get cold feet right before you get married and then they just get ghosts. Are you saying that's what dudes are doing with children? She said yes.
Well, that if they did anything, that would have to take any responsibility
Eh,
there.
why did
Edward, check your Facebook. I sent you a video.
why do they perpetuate their lie? We're in this community. We date them. We date them. We have kids by them, and all these dudes cannot lie. Cannot be bullshitting. Right? There's too many of us that say this exact same thing. Like
I am
like
lying,
Hey,
OTF. You
we're
told
from
me to
another
lie. You told
hey,
me to
hey,
come on here and lie.
hey, hey,
I'm messing with you.
hey, I'm gonna let Miller hop back. I'm gonna jump down for a
All right.
second. So,
Oh yeah, Rashida. One
Let,
thing
let,
about
let me answer BGS
Rashida,
question
man.
real quick, Edward. They do this lie because the lie ain't for black men. The lie is for white men.
yeah,
That's why.
yeah. It's not for us
What
because we know the
they
truth.
know more than we do.
Because we know the truth. We know how they pop up. They get that fucking call. I'm pregnant.
I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
You know
Look,
when you
Marcus
get the
Brown.
call
When
after
Look,
you
you
look,
when,
start
Marcus.
when you
fucking with
supposed to
them.
be on your pill, well,
Y'all,
Right.
y'all got to look at Marcus Brown's video where he got the vasectomy and he said, "Yep, these women be saying I'm pregnant." He be
mhm.
like, "I no, it's not. Like, yes, it is. I got a vasectomy. I've been had one for years." And then they just get ghosts.
Man, you know how many times I done heard that stuff and march them down to the clinic and make them take a pregnancy test, and they come out
Mhm.
singing a different song.
When they come out too, they do that too to try to get another chance with you because if they
Hey,
not, a
hey,
lot of times they'll
let me
commit
let me
and
Yep.
ask
they're
this
not
then. Y'all can
commit then.
disagree with me,
Go
That's
ahead.
how they
But most of the
claim you. They
time,
claim you with a
most of the
baby.
time, but most of the time when some of these chicks say that they pregnant.
Mhm.
A lot of the brothers do try to step up to the plate. They say, okay, I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna try to go ahead and do what I gotta
Do
do.
what's right.
Mhm.
And a lot of times it's like once the baby's there, and they try to do what they gotta do. They might not have a good job, whatever the case may be. It still don't work out because it's a problem between them two, not the baby.
Once a woman
Yeah,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
let you know
once
this.
a woman
I've
get
been in that
pregnant, she wants
situation.
to put ownership over your life. Like now, I can tell you what to do.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right. That,
and
and,
and
and I'll
that's what
say
it
in
is.
all of my
And
cases. Can you hear me?
Go
we can
ahead,
hear you.
yeah,
Kev.
we can hear you.
Yeah. Cause I'm about to say in
Go
all of
ahead.
my cases, that's the same way. You try to be nice. Like
Damn.
remember, like I said, I'm the one with multiple baby
Yeah,
mamas.
because
You
like I
try to
said,
be
a lot of
nice.
times,
You try to be
a
nice.
lot of cats do want to step
Listen,
up to the plate and be like,
son.
Well,
yeah,
can I
Judge is
finish?
talking. Yeah, judge is
oh,
talking.
I
I can't
mean,
hear him.
you
I can't
talked
hear him.
over me the
You got to go
last
out and
three
come back
times.
in, son.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
but I said a lot of times what people do, you try to be nice, step up to the plate, but then what they fucking do, they just start putting more and more on your plate, just try to make it more. They try to just add more shit, and you're like, well, I want to do this, and I'm to the point like this is I tell all men, and I'll be the first one to come out and say it. If the bitch is not gonna let you have a say so in the child's life, pay the bill and walk away.
Yeah,
Hmm.
There's
I'm
just
I'm
no
I'm with
point.
Ramil on that shit.
If you can't play the simple, if I'm supposed to pay half the money, I
Hmm.
need to make half the decisions too. If
Yeah.
I can't put my hat in the pot, ain't no point in me being here.
The
And that's
thing is,
why men leave.
a chick get pregnant, and next thing you know, oh, you got to move me and our baby in the house. So
Right,
what?
right. Or you need
Yeah,
to buy this
and
from me.
that's
Okay.
Yeah.
and
Can I,
that and
as a,
that's I want to say this quick thing with Son. Son was talking about how dudes try to step up. The reality situation is we actually looked at statistics, surveys, and everything. Black men actually do more for their kids
Then any
than
other
like
way.
other groups of men in percentage. So the narrative, because even the way he was saying that from a narrative perspective, like an uphill battle. And that's a part of the game too, that's that black male guilt shit, which is having people believe the dudes be just really disappearing. See, one person asked, why do they lie? They lie because people will believe it, even other men.
Hmm.
And these dudes come out the gate really believing that dudes just bounce and the shit Rashida and them saying it because they're saying it with so much passion, so much force. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but that doesn't happen the way they want to act like it happens. And usually what happens, it was just like how Karazin said it. Usually what happens is y'all want to have a baby with a certain dude because they think that that's going to break class and change the dynamics of the relationship. And dudes are not biologically wired to children like women are. We have to imprint on that kid. And the reality is a lot of times how we had that kid is going to determine how we feel about the woman as well as that kid. And women be thinking that all that shit is sanctioned and it's not sanctioned. That's why you don't see it that now white people got some fuckery too, but that shit is much more shamed. It's women are not allowed to live in this space where they didn't fuck up. They tell this magical story. So I just wanted to put that out there.
well, let me say to the
Well,
young brothers, what I'm pregnant means when they hear it from a black woman. Okay, because this is something that needs to be understood. And if you ain't been caught up yet, y'all need to know what
I
I'm
own
pregnant means.
Hmm.
I own you.
I'm serious. I'm serious, bro. This is what
Hold on,
the
hold on,
young
hold
brothers
on,
need to
hold
know.
on, hold
Let him
on.
let him get it out. Let him get it out.
Yeah. I'm
You
pregnant
better not be
means
doing Captain
Edward,
Phillips.
let him get it out.
Damn, Edward.
all right. Yeah, I'm trying to say these brothers. I'm pregnant means I'm not pregnant yet, but I want to see you dumb enough to start having sex with me unprotected
Hmm.
because you believe I'm pregnant, so I can get pregnant. So therefore,
Hmm.
you can't end the relationship.
Hmm.
I would
Oh,
assume about 90% of the time when a
Yeah.
woman says I'm pregnant, she's not actually pregnant.
No.
She's
yeah.
just trying
She
to
get.
It's called
control and change the
keep a nigga
relationship at
baby.
that point,
Mhm.
but she
I
ain't
was
pregnant
gonna
at all.
say
She's
I'm
trying to take
pregnant means
control.
I'm the captain. Remember that Captain
Mhm.
Phillips movie? Like I'm the captain now. Look at me.
Yep.
I'm the captain now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She trying
I
to
got a
keep
question
control.
to the men with children. I got a question to the men with children, just so the audience can hear this. Have you noticed if you've ever got a girl pregnant? Have you
Hmm.
noticed when you say, okay, you fine? Most of the men say, fuck it. They try to get their shit together and step up and do the right thing.
Yeah. Try to.
Now,
Yeah.
if you ever noticed, right now, here's the question: did you notice while you were stepping up doing the right thing, trying to do this? If you notice how you altered your way of life because you knew the child was coming. So you would take, oh, I can't spend this much money at the club, or I can't have this item that I want. If you notice, the women, they never cut back on what they want.
Nope.
So basically, they'll spend their money like
it increases. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're right, and that's the problem too. It's like, well, wait a minute. You can still get everything you want, and you don't sacrifice nothing. Where I'm sacrificing everything that I want. And that's the reason why I'm not gonna lie. I walked away from 2 of my kids, parent, and these were after I've been involved in their life and all like that, because that's why me and my daughter don't talk no more. Like literally, we got into an argument over bullshit, and it's like, look, plain and simple. Here's the question: when's the last time I made a decision and we did it my way? I said, I'll make a deal with you. If you can recall, I'll give you 15 minutes. One decision that I made and we did it the way I wanted to do, I will let you make every decision for the rest of her life. You could. Well, I can't name one.
What did I say about
that goes to show you? Don't you think all my child support payments are worth that? I said, well, fine. If I can't make no decisions, ain't no fucking point of me being here.
What did I say about blowing up relationships versus being a submissive dude?
Yeah. Well, you got that's basically what it is. They try to beat you into submission. Did you check that video out, Edward?
No, hold on. Let me check it out. But
go ahead and check that video out. Don't show it to nobody, but check that video out. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, but see that's why men need to realize what's really going on. I've never had a pregnancy scare. Now I've had one woman told me. I ain't gonna even say it was luck, but
that's luck, man.
That's luck, Negro.
That's luck. That's walking through the minefield and not getting blown up, man. That's luck.
Never at all, Roger.
No, bro. This is it for me. Is one or two things gonna happen. If I get a woman pregnant, it's not to me. I'm not going to say it's a pregnancy scare because it's not a pregnancy scare because I wouldn't get nobody pregnant unless I was kind of cool with getting them pregnant. But at the end of the day, like a woman, when I was like maybe 23, a woman told me she was pregnant. Right now, I know she lied. It's cool. I wasn't tripping about it. You know what I'm saying? She just said, "Oh, I'm pregnant." Now, first of all, it was too early to know you're pregnant. You need at least 2 weeks to know you're pregnant.
Yeah.
So you told me too early. That's number one. I just say, okay, that's cool. It's a Walgreens down the way. We can grab a pregnancy test, and we'll just have you take that. And after you pass that test, we'll go to the hospital, and you can see your doctor. We'll take a real one. You know what I'm saying? I never heard anything else after that. That was it. That was just the whole thing. So I already knew she wasn't pregnant. That was just her way of asking me for some money that she never got to the point of asking me for whatever she was about to ask me for. That's all that was. She wanted something.
So why would she do that? Why would she do that?
Because they liars.
Because he thought you were stupid enough to believe it.
She wanted the abortion. For instance, she wanted to exploit an opportunity to get money out of him for a quote unquote abortion that was unnecessary.
I'm not gonna say it was for an abortion because she just wanted some money. We don't know how long she was gonna spend. My thing is, let's not give them too much credit. We don't know how long she'd have spent this story had I failed for it. So she could have been on some. Let me try to get some money for an abortion, but that ain't necessarily where it was gonna go.
If it was a false, well, this is my deductive skills and reasoning speaking. In the event that she conducted a false pregnancy, what would be her motivation for telling that damn lie? If not to get money from you.
You have sex without a condom.
Let Roger finish, y'all.
Yeah, let me answer that, Judge. Mella, you have to understand. I said she was trying to get money. So I already know that's what she was trying to do. What I'm saying is you giving her way too much credit to say she only wanted money for an abortion. There's no telling how long she'd have been spinning that story. And when it got too far along, she'd have just claimed she had a miscarriage. More than likely. It wasn't no, I'm going to give her $300 one time and then that's it. No, if she could spin that story for 3, 4, 5 months, she'd have done it. More than likely.
That shit happens more than you think. I'm not saying that's prevalent, but it happens.
Miss Mella, I'm gonna ask you a question, and it's not directly to you, but it's directly to the situation. Why would you say it was in reference to her getting an abortion?
Because I've heard a scenario from my brother regarding that. That's why.
Well, I mean, I'm saying, why would it be so easy for a female to just say, okay, well, I want to get this
My
abortion?
brother deals with some pretty skeety girls.
because I asked this question a whole lot, and it is in reference to, okay, well, I was talking about the fellas, you know, when it comes to us, you know, when these babies come, you know, it's, you know, whether I want the child or not.
He's not a he makes it known that he doesn't want to be a father, even though he runs up in these women raw.
Why is it so easy? Why is it so easy for them?
I can't talk him out of it. He crazy. I can't talk him out of it.
I'm saying, why is it so easy for the sisters to say, okay, yeah, I'm trying to have an abortion, you know, but then when the baby, you know, I want to have this baby, but then, like I said, okay, I tell you why I don't want to have this kid because I'm not ready to be a dad. I don't have no control of that. I done said this several times, and nobody can answer this question for me.
Because they can. That's the answer.
You think you're dumb enough to fall for it?
But it's easy for you. But it's But it's easy for the female to say, okay, I'm gonna have an abortion. I don't want to have this baby.
What do you? Okay, what am I supposed to answer?
Basically, what he's saying is, why is it cool that women can abort a child physically, but a man can't financially abort a kid?
Because it's the law.
Or even neglect him. Or just even neglect him because I didn't want it.
He wants to be a Ghostbuster.
Wait, I mean, you saying ill, but I'm saying, you know,
you saying
if I didn't want to have this. Whoa.
What he's saying is that a woman has a right to kill a child, but man does not have a right to walk away from his responsibility.
Right. I want to walk away from the responsibility on one of mine. So yeah.
It's the law. I don't know. It's the law.
No.
Like I said,
one at a time.
You gotta understand. What he's trying to ask you, Mela, is why are women so cool with the fact that they can walk away,
why
but a man
women
cannot?
So cool?
Why are women so cool? Listen to the question and you will hear it. Why are women so cool with the fact that
clinics?
Son, can you let him get the doggone question out?
Oh no, okay.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Why are women so cool with the fact that they can walk away from having a child, but the man cannot walk away? Why are women so cool about that?
Oh God, I'm trying to understand. Yeah, I guess you know what.
Why is it good for the goose and not the gander?
Myself in a situation that doesn't exist in my, you know, it just I'm trying my hardest to.
Well, let me ask this question. I'll make it real simple. I'll make it real simple. Do you believe abortion should be outlawed? Because I do. All right, that kind of answers it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, does it not, y'all? It kind of answers the question because most women don't. Because my thing is, now we may have different reasons believing why, but at the end of the day, most black women don't believe that. Most black women buy into this is women in general buy into the feminism of my body, my choice, and then that's when we get into the questions of fairness. So if you believe that abortion should be outlawed, the question about the fairness,
can I get my 3-day walk away?
Relevant at that point.
No, the men should get a 3-day walk away. You find out your kid. Oh, I got 3 days to decide to walk if I can walk away.
Judge ain't shit.
Nah,
you and Ramil.
No, Judge is just speaking the truth. Why can't I have 3-day walk away?
I don't like abortion topics. Because I love children. I just can't imagine someone killing a child. That's crazy.
Well, I can imagine it 15 million. It's happened 15 million times in the black community.
Let me ask you this: rather than kill a child, should men just kill?
Why are you laughing?
Mela, question: instead of killing a child, should men just kill a woman?
Right.
What in the hell are you saying?
I mean, the woman's life is no more valuable than the child's life, right?
Look. It takes sexual intercourse to conceive a child. Don't do it if you're not ready for it.
Oh, there it is.
Okay,
See, I was trying to go out.
Wait a minute.
Somehow found your way back.
Hold up. Hold up.
Wait a minute.
I mean,
Why can't we destroy your
ain't,
life like you destroying ours?
I'm not the
All right,
percentage
y'all.
man.
Peace out. I'm gonna let somebody else pop on because
I'm
I'm
not.
exiting out on that.
I'm not the statistic man, but I'm saying what
Why?
is the.
Why?
But in BGS, you can help
Because
me
Why
you
out
is
need
with this.
another
somebody talking
lawyer.
about killing?
Hold on.
Somebody's talking about killing children, killing women.
Hold on.
What the hell?
Hold on.
Stop with the fake outrage for a
Mella,
second.
you're not hearing what my question is. You know, Miss Mella, you're not hearing my question. What I'm saying, okay, in BGS, you can help me out with this as far as the statistics. What it is
You not?
the
I know
most?
you're not getting ready to ask me the
Whoa.
same question a different way.
Can I ask?
I know
Can
you're
I
not
say?
getting ready to insult my intelligence like
I'm not
that.
insult. I'm not insult. I'm just asking a
Mella, you're
question. I'm
not
not
gonna hear the
insulting your
question unless you
intelligence.
listen. Just be quiet for a
I'm
second.
not
Let me
insulting.
ask you the question.
I'm not insulting your intelligence. I'm not just asking questions. What is the statistics of the abortions and relevance of why women, mostly women, are having abortions? What is the statistic?
He asking me statistics on the spot.
He.
I
I'm
love
asking
you,
the
man.
question.
You asking
All
me
at the time.
statistics on the spot. I can look it up real quick. If
You
you
can
give me
look.
a
Yeah,
minute,
you look
I
it.
can look it
Look
up.
Look
it
it
up.
up.
I
Look it
mean,
up.
Look it up.
yeah. Why you look it up?
I
At the
don't.
end of the day, it always comes back to the same
Damn.
thing. You know, if you have intercourse, you all are both responsible, even though the laws are structured to really the man's responsible and the woman can get.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that, and this is
Oh,
why. This
look.
is why. No, and that's fine. This is why me personally, I think that black men need to all vote for Donald Trump. So that way, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she's 87. I don't know if she's gonna make it past 91. And then when the most liberal Supreme Court justice is flipped, Trump will get a third pick, and then that puts that on the table,
All right,
rewriting that back.
let's talk
All
about
right.
disillusionment right there. Piggyback it. Let's talk about disillusionment. If we're discussing that it is a disadvantage for a man to impregnate a woman, then why does he approach her vagina with a sense of
Okay. So we're gonna
some
ignore the
type of
question. Okay.
advantage?
Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
absolutely, and that's why a lot of black men. That's why a lot. Well, I mean,
It's like
We
that's an
we going to
absolute valid question. That's an absolute valid question, and that's why a lot of black men are starting to go SYSBM, because what a lot of black men are starting to come to the conclusion is you can't separate the culture from the woman. So therefore, the
Right.
problem is you have to get away from the woman, because
Right.
that's how they say. Okay, only the black woman vagina tends to think that way. So the problem is the black woman vagina. So I need to go somewhere else. Now I always tell dudes to be smart about where you go because there's fuckery everywhere. But at the end of the day, that's why dudes are coming to that conclusion. It is they say, okay, this is a software problem, not the hardware problem. Because other people don't think like that to that extent. They just don't. Not to that extent. But go ahead.
Well, the black women, I hate to say y'all software, black women
it's a
software when it comes
simple
to the fact of
equation.
being, you guys don't cooperate enough. You guys are just the highly most uncooperative of any
Well,
race.
what
What's the simple
Mela,
equation?
you do realize you do realize, Mela, that you can, what you just said, that can only uniquely happen in the United States of America. That can't even happen in Britain like that.
That's true. That's true.
So
That's
therefore,
absolutely true.
there is a unique cultural as well as legal framework to allow that to happen. So this is an exception, not the rule. Anywhere else, that mindset could happen. And
That's
I'm glad
absolutely
you
true.
admitted that. Yeah, so and that's one of the things that I look at when I look at, okay, is it really that black men are full of shit? Because I always start all my shit is a black man
No,
really full of shit.
there's a disadvantage whenever a man enters his phallus into a woman's orifice. There's always a potentiality that leans on the higher side of disadvantage in America.
Unless he's wi-
Higher side of
unless he's willing to
disadvantage.
make the ultimate sacrifice. Unless he's
What
willing to
about
make the
that?
ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah, so
So,
black
Because you
men need to
always
only
so,
black men need to deal with white women, because the thing about white women is they're less likely to have a baby because they don't want to lose their white privilege. So if you're just looking in the nut in the bitch, that's a good that's the logic behind that.
Damn, I ain't think about
you
it that way.
remove the incentive the
I mean,
women have.
well, what I was
That's
trying to say by the ultimate sacrifice is if a woman is not willing to raise the baby with you, you may have to just take her out.
Take her out.
What? There you go with the
walk away.
insinuations of killing women again. Roger
so-
crazy,
no,
man.
So, wait a minute,
Roger crazy.
so it's men to use their phallus or their penis to their advantage, and not women don't use their sex to their advantage. Really?
Thank you. Right.
I
Considering that they're the ones that are getting all the handouts.
I said the law has been constructed thus far. That doesn't mean
By
in
who?
the future.
Hold on.
We don't know.
Mella, hold on, Mella. I got a question that's based on her. Your experience should help you be able to answer very easily.
Boy.
In your opinion, do you believe that the way the laws are constructed, because we've had 73 years and not 73 years, it happened in 73.
The
and
law does not favor men.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. Do you? That's obvious. But the question I have for you is: do you believe or feel, whatever, in your opinion, that overall, now that we've had decades of the way this shit is structured, has that even benefited women as far as the outcomes that they will ultimately want?
Morally, no.
I mean, in any way.
Has it done it in any way?
In your opinion, this is not a right or so. What way would that?
Why else would they keep? Why else would the children if it wasn't a benefit to it?
But when I say that, what I mean is the black female complaint sector is $1 billion industry. It's much larger than the male sector. So when you look at things like in the media, you look at the typical complaints against black men, right? Because here's the thing: if you remove the ability to abort, which you said you agree with, that doesn't really harm women. Well, some women can argue it can, but that also fucks with the dudes that like to do the very nutting. So the argument that you made about the phallus, the arguments they came at you with about why is it fair that I can't have the kid and all, they can have the kid, or a woman's choice, that becomes removed. So now your argument becomes a lot stronger about not putting your dick in a female, and that's why a lot of dudes are not for removing a woman's ability to abort. That's why they're for. So it goes both ways to a certain extent. Well, so my thing is, when you look at females' outcomes and you look at what they complain about, they can't get no man, they ain't no good men, all this other shit. I would argue that abortion actually creates that scenario. It just doesn't hit them till later on. But that's just me.
Yeah, they introduced the variable with the abortion laws. I concede to that. What I just want the accusations in terms of, because what's throwing me off, right, is that I get the feeling that you all just want to say something out loud, but you're just asking questions. Just say what you got to say.
Oh no, hell no! If I had something to say, I'd fucking say.
Wait. Here's the question: which do you think is worse, the men or the women?
Worst.
She don't know.
When it comes to in a black relationship, who is worse, the overall section of men or the women? I'm just saying, like when it comes to overall relationship dynamics, when you think about all your friends, what do you think is worse, the men or the women?
She's not trying to answer that, Judge, but let me ask you this.
We already know the answer to that.
Mella, simple question. Mella, these are very simple questions.
You might as well ask me if Elvis is still alive, man. Come on now.
Just listen to it, you'll find out.
Hey, Roger. What did Dave Chappelle's kid used to say? Be like, when they asked him about R. Kelly, be like, my blackness doesn't allow me to answer that question. I'm gonna start playing that shit with the black women. My blackness doesn't allow me to answer that question.
That's ridiculous.
Mella. I mean, real talk. What is your honest feeling? Is the life of a child more valuable than the life of a woman, or is the life of a woman more valuable than the life of a child?
Nigga, the woman is the black woman is God, nigga.
Hold on,
is your name Mella, Edward?
Yeah.
Damn.
Mella, which life is more valuable, that of a child or that of a woman?
I'm not a physician to determine that. You're
not a what?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, Mella. I'm gonna tell you what, Mella. If we were on the Titanic,
I'm not a physician.
Edward.
Okay, Mela, I'm not asking you which one costs the most. I'm asking you which one is the most valuable.
It's a woman's nature to save her child first. So the child is more
Shit.
valuable.
Okay.
Okay, so if instead of aborting children,
Oh my God.
if men have a problem with the women that they can't raise a child with, shouldn't they just abort the woman?
So this is what
Boy,
a
Basically, what you're
habitual
saying.
line
And
stepper
look,
is.
look, look,
right.
look. Check this out, right? Don't
Mhm.
get caught.
Right,
So
Don't
you're in
get caught.
agreement.
right. I agree.
Are you saying
I
you
agree with
No,
that,
agree?
man.
no. If a woman is gonna have your baby and you don't want to deal with her, and you figure out a way to get her quote unquote out the picture, don't get caught, brother.
Well, not me, because I ain't worried about it.
Well,
Any
well,
woman that has my child already will have the understanding if something happens to my child, she will die. I don't care nothing about killing no woman over my kid.
well,
Wouldn't
if
you
well,
kill for
what,
your kid?
well,
You
what Corey
already
Holcomb,
just you just actually indicated that, so that's why I said
well,
don't
what
get
Corey
caught.
Holcomb
No, no,
says is, if you want your
I don't want
kids, you
to
should put
indicate.
crack in her car.
Yeah, well, I don't want to indicate nothing.
Right.
I'm saying this. I'm a grown man. I don't know what man can call himself a man that's unwilling to kill over their kids.
Well, when it comes
I
to
don't
that
understand.
woman, yeah, I can show a whole bunch of dudes that wouldn't do that when coming to that female.
But
Now,
this is
now
what I'm
here's the
saying
thing.
though. This is what I'm saying though. If I
This
have a kid
this
with a
this
woman,
man sitting up here
if I
talking
if,
about killing
but
women.
but
Hey, Roger,
Melo,
did you ever see American
are
Horror
you
Story Roanoke?
Wow.
When that woman killed that dude, set him on fire, put him on that tree when he tried to take the kids away from her?
Wow.
Hmm.
well, I mean,
That was a
But
good
how is it
episode.
wild? But women do it.
well, this is my whole
Okay,
this is
when
my
y'all kill
point,
one of
fellas.
us.
Yo, I
This is
got
my
I
point,
got
fellas.
snapped. I got snapped. I got an episode of Snapped on my TV right now that's about that, even though it's with white folks.
But see,
I'm not talking about
my point
killing
is,
men.
hold on,
I
Melo.
ain't talking
I'm
Listen
about
not
to what I'm
you.
talking
saying.
about that.
Melo, we ain't talking about what you talking about. Well, this is my point. Why
Then why
shouldn't
am
men
I here?
We
listen?
don't know
Fellas,
why you're here.
We
We
don't
don't
know.
know.
okay,
I
Okay.
we
was
don't
here.
know.
Bye.
Okay,
Oh, BGS.
Bye.
BGS.
right
I
now
was here
it's
first.
it
Now
sounds like it's
now
okay.
you
Look,
said you don't know why you here. So we don't
He's
know.
talking about killing women, man.
no. Listen.
He's talking
Listen to
about
me.
killing women.
Melo,
Hey,
listen.
that's
Be
Roger. I
quiet.
ain't said
Let,
shit
let
about
The
me.
that.
Roger
Roger, you better take this
report
Hold
shit
is
on,
talking
down.
about killing women.
Melo.
Now,
Could you be quiet for a second so I can talk without being talked over? This is a show. Other people need to listen. Okay. Now, again, as men, when it comes to protecting our children, why should we have a concept that your child is not worth killing over? We should not have that concept as men. Your child should be worth killing over. Point blank, period. So if a woman wants to be involved with you and wants to have a child with you and wants to have a family with you, where do men unplug from being protective over their children? And even if the police, the court system, or whoever else want to somehow get involved with trying to stop you from protecting your child, why is it so bad that men have the concept that we're willing to kill over our children? Why is that a bad thing?
Hmm.
Oh God.
You know,
You
she
got
don't
an
like
issue
Okay.
with
hard
that?
questions.
Okay.
Do you
Okay.
think a man
Here
should
we go.
not be
No,
willing to
no.
kill
Give
over
me a
his child,
moment. Give
Melo?
me a moment. Give me a moment. Give me a moment.
I
In the
mean,
event. Damn. Okay. Give me a moment. Hello.
when you
In,
start
in
making
the
signs
event.
like that, you got to come
In the
through. You can't wait.
in the
You can't wait.
event.
You got to come through.
In the event that a man separates from the mother of his children, she has custody and finds that the children are being subjugated in a way that he disagrees with, therefore he wants her out of the picture. He got to
Hmm.
do what he got
No.
to
That's not
do.
what I'm talking about. That's
Then
not
what
what
are
I'm
you
talking
talking
about.
about? Because that's the only thing.
Why should I
That's the
listen
only
and I'll tell you.
situation.
Listen and I'll tell you. Listen and I will tell you. You got to shut up long enough to hear it. Now, okay, so be quiet.
Same to
Okay, and I'm
you.
gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I'm saying. I'm telling you as a man, if someone, I don't care who that person is, has the idea that you should be separated from
The
your
idea.
children, then why shouldn't you just off them then?
The idea.
Yeah, if anybody wants to separate you from your child as a man, shouldn't you just kill them
Well,
over?
That's a stand your ground type of analogy, man.
Not stand your ground. Anybody who's willing to take your time from you.
I have the idea that she wants me to stay away from my children. I have the idea.
Wait a minute.
That's what you just said. I have the idea.
No,
that's what you just said.
Let me make it plain to you. If
I got it plain,
let me make it plain to you. No, you didn't. No, I obviously didn't. If I got a kid and you talk about kidnapping my kid,
this is the fourth time that you are explaining your point.
Don't seem like you got it though.
No, it seems like you can't communicate it.
No, I communicated. You the only person that don't seem to understand what I'm saying.
I've answered you 4 times, and here you come again and again and again and again.
And you still don't seem to understand what I'm talking about.
No, that is your interpretation because you are full of ideas. You're full of ideas. You're full of ideas.
Mela, you tried to preference everything with this,
I
that, and that. I ain't talking
anything.
about preference. I'm not talking about prefacing those situations. If somebody tells me they think they can take my kid, then they need to die. What's the issue with that?
I know what I didn't do is I didn't have the nerve to say an idea. An idea?
If somebody talks about kidnapping your son, you wouldn't kill him?
Man, of course I would.
You can't see your son, you wouldn't kill him?
Of course I would, man.
And don't you think that a lot of more men should step up and say that? Like, hey, you're gonna take my son away from me, I'm gonna make sure.
So what's all this other jibber jabber instead of getting to the point?
He was trying to say it in nice terms that'd be good for the internet.
No,
is that what he was trying to do? Or did he have ideas?
No, she was trying to avoid the question. That's all.
No, I wasn't trying to do anything.
Just like she did with mine.
I wasn't trying to do anything.
Like she did with mine. It's like she did with mine.
Here's what it is. It seems to me like you're trying to establish that men should not have the level of protectiveness for their children as women do. I feel like as a father, I should. Anyone tries to separate me from my child or bring harm to my child is dead. That is all there is to it.
That's what I agreed. I agreed.
Period.
I actually agreed.
Wait a minute, though, Roger. A lot of people,
but
a lot of men are actually scared to do that because the problem is this: a lot of men. I'm not even gonna lie. Men would probably get 50% custody if a lot of men did take that ground. Oh, you gonna stop me from seeing my kid? Okay, then I'm gonna handle it. I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't. It sounds evil and barbaristic. But if a lot of men stepped up to the plate and actually follow through, when they say, "Well, why'd you do it?" Well, she said I wasn't gonna never see my kid again anyway. I might as well be in jail, and make it where she can't see it either.
How many men get away with that?
But I'm just it's not gonna get away. But I'm just saying, it's fair. It's fair.
No, they don't get away with that.
How many women get away with that?
Wait a minute. This is the
point. Oh my gosh, you do it all the time.
Judge, hold on. Let me say this. Is my child worth serving time over? Yep.
Yes.
I ain't even gonna lie. You might as well listen. If you're a man and you done it, especially if you on the run, you might as well take some other friends out for you. Some of your friends, baby mamas out with you. Hey, what's the difference between one and at least you help them out?
How women go about doing that?
Ain't nobody taking my kid from me. I don't care what legal system you think you're a part of, or who you think you can call to regulate the situation. That's my kid. Therefore, anyone who wants to take my kid has to prepare to die. Simple as that.
I remember the Peterson case enacted those specific activities.
Yeah. Well, it's a common term with women. Y'all love to say you ain't gonna see your kid. I mean, even if you say, "Oh, I've never said that," but you know of women who have had
the Peterson case.
Are you talking about Scott and Lacey
Scott Peterson?
Yes, he is. Scott Peterson. Why did he kill his wife?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Miss Mills. You talking about the Peterson case, and I asked you about statistics, and you got all uproared about it.
Right.
Well, I
Yeah,
have to.
what baby was involved in the Peterson case? What kid was involved?
The little white girl. She's in the basement at the bottom of the steps.
That was
No,
her
no, no,
kid?
no, 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 no,
Because that
no,
wasn't the
no.
Wasn't that?
Peterson case.
No. I'm talking about Chicago. That crazy looking white guy that was he was married to. He's
What
married
kid was
twice.
involved in that case? What kid was involved in that case?
They had children together.
No.
And
What kid was involved in the
hold
case?
on, slow your roll, please.
Well, you're not answering the question.
Hold on, slow your roll.
Didn't
I
answer
will.
the question.
Hold on, slow your
Hold
roll.
on, slow your roll.
She got to give you the story first.
Yeah, and I don't
Right.
need a story. I'm just asking what
She
kid was
gonna
involved.
give you the story first, no matter
I don't
what.
need
Man,
no story.
I'm
Right.
on mute. I'm on mute.
She
I don't need no
want to
story.
walk around the block first, and then
Yeah, she got to give you the story first.
Nah, I don't need a story. I just need
Well,
the
then,
kid that was involved.
you gonna get a story if you ask her a question. Don't give you a story.
no
Nah,
direct
All
questions
right,
are allowed.
let's move
No
along.
direct answers.
Let's move the conversation along.
Thank you.
Let's
All-
move it along.
All answers are
Let's
2
move it along.
paragraphs or more.
you know what?
Yeah,
You know what? I'm gonna make an apology to those who don't understand why I'm the way. I ain't got time for a bunch of excuses. That's just me. So I don't
I'm
tend to
the
listen.
same way. I like to answer to my questions.
Yeah,
that kind
but-
of burns me up.
But the thing is,
I don't like.
it takes less time to let her tell the story than it will to actually argue with her about trying to answer the question.
Yeah, but we need to stop that behavior.
Yeah,
That's
if you
one
can't-
thing. We right. We gotta put a stop to that behavior.
She's a black woman, okay?
Yeah,
right.
but
I know.
if
So
I
that's
can't
why
answer to my
you gotta be firm and harsh.
Hey,
No, my
hey,
thing
I'm
is,
mad.
I would have
I'm
listened
mad.
to her story had she gave me the answer, but she didn't give me the answer. Therefore, your story has no value.
Or how about this? What we do is this: since you like to tell her stories, we'll get a little bail. So when you're about to answer the question, we'll all go take a nap, and then once you're about to get the answer, you ring the bell and wake everybody back up. So that way,
I don't know why you guys
answer.
ask
We
the
can skip
questions
that
that she's
part.
not gonna answer.
Right.
Well, you know what?
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Mela should change her name to Wonder Woman. I ain't never seen nobody deflect as many questions as this one.
I have.
I was about to say
Oh, I
that.
have.
I asked my question about the damn abortion, thing,
Right.
and she went to the Peterson thing. Okay.
I bet you Nella got some quick hands, don't you, girl? You probably you can snatch the pebble from the teacher's hand. The way she did dodge him question, like what? I'm like, whoa. They're like, fuck, never mind.
But you know
like,
what?
not one word got through.
I want to say this though, because as men, honestly, if we're talking to women and we ask them a question and they can't answer the question that if they can't answer the question we ask, don't accept nothing. And me, I've never chosen to be involved in one-way conversation. So if I ask you something, I understand you may want to say something to me. But the thing is, answer the question I ask you, then you can tell me all the other stuff you want to tell. But if you can't acknowledge what I asked you, I don't want to hear nothing.
You know, Roger, I did a women's panel for a women's panel for like 2.5 years. Okay, how many times I said that?
Well, I mean,
every day.
I was firm on it. And sometimes with certain personalities, you got to let them tell you the story. Because
right, but this is the problem. We're not trying to condone the behavior. We got to give them, as they say,
if you're going to answer the question, then you have to say you have to let her tell the story. Cut it short, but let her tell the story. Otherwise, you're not going to get an answer.
Well, we don't need to answer that bad.
You don't need to answer that bad, so don't ask it.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna say this. You right to a certain degree, BGS. Some people gotta say something and to be heard, but then there's other people who've been around the block with you a couple times and they kind of know what time it is already.
And you do too, because you know they're not gonna answer it that way.
Yeah, well, my thing.
In other words, they can't talk no more.
In other words, you're trying to train her to answer to be in a man's panel, and sometimes it doesn't work with some people.
Well,
you
know what though? It goes back to this all goes back to the original topic. In order to be able to answer a question straight, it has to be some level of accountability.
Yes.
And when people dance around questions and don't want to answer them, they don't want the accountability of what's being said. Now it's like what I don't. But what
that was slick.
No. There you go. There you go, Roger. Accountability should go along with responsibility. So if you don't got any responsibility, if you don't take any accountability, that means you shouldn't be able to have any responsibility. So that means women shouldn't get kids at all.
You
It's already,
actually
it's already,
managed
it's already
to
segued.
segue.
It's already segued.
You
You had to
actually
get,
managed to segue. That
well,
was
yeah.
slick.
Okay.
It
Well,
wasn't
now we
slick. He just did a great job.
good job. Yeah.
That's what
No
he's supposed to do.
responsibility without accountability.
Yeah.
As of tomorrow,
Kudos,
your women are not allowed to vote. Your decision making skills are over with.
Out
See,
of all of you. Kudos, brutal.
she still wants to tell her story.
Kudos.
Go ahead and tell your story.
But
No. We
We're gonna
moved
get you a
on.
little bail. We'll wake up.
We
I
moved
will
on.
say
We
this.
moved
Let me
No,
on.
offer this
I
clarity.
just
We
acknowledge talent. That's
moved
all.
on. We moved
No.
on.
Let me offer this clarity though. Let me offer this clarity because I don't like where this part of the conversation was going. We do not condone undue harm to women. Let me put it like that.
Mhm.
We not undue harm. Okay.
So if the heifer don't deserve it, don't kill her, right?
No, of course not.
Well, what about
Undue
what if you don't
harm.
get caught?
What
What if you
what
don't
if
get caught?
what if it's due harm? What if it's due harm, Kia?
What if it's
Yeah.
due harm? Shit, knock yourself out. Well, knock her out.
Okay.
If it's due harm.
Anyway, back,
I mean, because
meanwhile,
one thing I do believe in. Because
meanwhile,
one
back
thing
at
I
the
do
ranch.
believe in.
Mhm.
Yeah. One thing I do believe in is protecting me and mine, period. You know, in whatever consequences that may have. If I'm doing the right thing at the end of the day, I'm going to feel good about it, no matter how society looks at it. I know that there's fences to climb and hurdles to jump already because I'm a black man. But if I'm going down doing the right thing.
Oh yeah,
period.
yeah. When my children were young, I always used to tell my family, if something ever happens, put money on my books. They should tell my ex that too, you know, because he used to do some record with the kids. I said, I pray to God for my kids every night that nothing happens to them. She says, why? I said, because I want you to live and I don't want to be in prison.
I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I feel that all day.
Mm-hmm. So you want to be reckless with them, you better pray nothing happens to them.
Yeah.
Because you won't be breathing no air, okay? And I would tell my family to put some money on my books.
I tell people all the time, put some money on my books.
Put some money on my books, and I'll sit gladly. Did you kill her? Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, honestly, we as men, if we have the opportunity, because if you serving on the jury, real talk, and somebody come in there with nonsense like that, where, you know, like I've seen cases where a man killed somebody that was molesting his child. Now, if I'm on the jury, ain't no, if that's the story, he's not guilty. There is something called jury. There's something called jury nullification. The people are supposed to have the last say. So if you come in with the wrong thing, and I don't agree with the law, the people are supposed to be able to disagree with the law and let people off for stuff that they don't see as wrong. And me, I don't care who you kill if you protected your child.
Yeah. With me and my best friend, we used to have a pact before he died. Right? He said if it was my kids, and he helped me out, I'd take the full blame. Right? I did it alone. As if it's his kids, he would take full blame. So in other words, you know, we do it together, but whoever's kids was the one that takes the fall for it.
That make a lot of sense.
Definitely.
Some things you can't do alone, especially trying to hide a body.
They need to have a baby mama database. Baby mama drama database.
Oh, I think
that way other men wouldn't have sex with them, but they could also use it for other
Well, you know
things.
what though? They do have websites like that where women do warn other women about men. So I wouldn't say anything.
But the thing about it, they're allowed to have that for us. But if we had that, think about it. If we came out with a don'tdateher.com, woo-wee.
Judge, we don't need it. It's called if she got kids, you probably want to leave her alone.
Well, why do you think they push so hard about that? If we came up with a database, just think about it. I for real, there you go. You don't believe me? Start a Facebook group. Don'tdateher.com. You know, don't date her, man.
I bet you Facebook group.
I might do that.
Right.
Don't date her.
Start hey, I get 5% because I came up with ideas.
Okay,
and look, no. Matter of fact, I ain't even go to show you. I even be the spokesperson. I don't even mind. I'll be the front person taking all the flack. Because
Yeah.
I
We
don't know,
can't
is
use you
Edward
as the
still
front
here? Or
page
Edward is
because
gone.
you got 3 kids. We can't have you as the front person.
Oh, I'm already
He's an
listen.
expert.
I'm
No
already right.
no
I'm all right.
comment.
I'm not listen. I'm not already a client. I'm an expert.
Yeah.
And see, look. Think about. No, but think about this though.
No comment.
Technically, you guys may not like my ways and all like this, but one thing you can always say, Dre is not afraid to admit anything.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well,
I've
yeah, I
been good
feel you there.
politicians. That for people for the average for people who aren't politicians, because they say at least we know where Dre stands.
Well, no,
It's just
I feel you. But my thing is
you
like
may not like my view, but you know where I stand.
if a woman got 2 kids, I honestly feel like brothers shouldn't even give her a conversation.
Unless you
Say,
got kids, yeah.
no, I mean
No.
two is just way too out the realm of even why even have a conversation with a woman like
Unless
that?
she's divorced or something like that.
Yeah, unless
Okay,
you're
yeah,
divorced.
I'm talking about those who've never been married. If you
Oh
got
yeah,
2 kids,
if you got 2
and,
kids by
Divorce
2
or the
different
person's
dudes,
dead.
yeah,
Or
then
the person's dead.
you're just target practice.
Yeah.
that's what I started calling them. You know what I'm saying? Target. I don't know if you got.
Target practice.
I got my friend was upset about that when I said when he was talking about single mothers and all that. I was like, no, those target practice. They're like, well, what you talking about? Like they got kids, right? She like, well, yeah. Oh, well, she target practice, bro. That's what she is at the end of the day. I didn't make the rules. I just will grow up in the world where I see the rules existing. Most guys ain't finna marry them,
you
so they
can't.
target practice.
But you can't say it like that, Roger.
I
He
like
just,
that.
That's why I came up with
he just did.
target practice to have a different way of saying it.
I wouldn't want my son to marry a ready-made family.
Yeah, that's what they used to call it.
Good.
That's why.
Yeah, but we always say that about our kids, but we always say that about our kids, but we always get triggered when they come up in other conversations about how we tell guys not to go after single mothers. Like I'm not do what you want to do. Do what you want to do with your life, but at the same time, this is a logic that I grew up on. Not to go into ready-made families, not to fool with women with kids, and this was not mostly told to me by the male members of my family. It was told to me by the female members of my family. So you could say it's on some black woman hate shit all y'all want, but hey, you know what? This is coming from women telling me this.
I wouldn't want my son to engage with a ready-made family. That would be ridiculous.
Well, matter of fact, to the whole panel, when men tell other men not to date single mothers, is that us holding other men accountable?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So people say we don't do it, but we doing it every day.
Yes, we do it all the time.
No, even with the whole however you feel about the Pookie and Ray Ray narrative, in that way, that's holding men accountable because you're putting them at a level to where they've done things and you've given them a label.
Yeah, it was. It was more about just about class of guys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is about class, but my thing is, as a woman, if you tell me you had a baby with a Pookie, I'm just sitting there like, okay, well, so how dumb were you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like a white dude having a baby with a trailer park girl.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, you're gonna have to deal with. You're gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah. It's people creep down to the ghetto, people or the projects. People creep down to the trailer park.
A billionaire married Eve.
Especially if you're a man of means.
Well, Eve was a celebrity. Eve wasn't just a chick walking down the street.
Right.
She's
look what Nicki Minaj did.
But that's why we gotta start calling them target practice. If you're gonna mess with those on that type of level that's so far removed from your level, that's target practice. It's okay to get your skills up, but don't be committed to them. You take all your good skills that you learn with those women, you take it to your woman.
Right. I mean, but like when we see these women like this, like when we think about the bald eagle or like people like Nicki Minaj, or even like for real, those are the people. I mean, like literally, did you have to be that? I mean, everybody always say you look so good and you got to fake behind anyway. So there's plenty of men out there that probably got their means that would have put up with that shit and done with you. But wait a minute, the only people you could marry was a former rapist / 5 kid having dude. I mean, like really, when you said it's like, wow, that goes to show what you're worth. Anybody who had, I mean, you can even marry a dude making 30,000 a year. He was like, oh hell no, I don't even want your ass. That
You
shows
gotta
you.
be.
I mean,
You gotta
that shows
be
your
a
worth.
certain. You gotta be a certain level of crazy to begin with to get that amount of plastic surgery. I mean, she had an extensive amount of surgeries, so she's
Oh yeah.
definitely not within her
Well,
right, man.
I
Like,
mean,
come
she can
on.
have all the surgery she wants, but
But
I mean,
right,
she can have
what
all the
she look
surgery
like.
she wants,
Right,
but that says nothing to
right,
her decision making as far as
right.
like number one,
I
here's two
beg to
things.
differ.
Number one, her husband's a sex offender. Number two, her brother is also a sex offender.
Sex offender.
So
And remember, she
just
was
based on
playing for him, saying he wasn't.
I guess
Todd
that's
said,
the
let me.
A person that goes through that amount of surgery knows how to detach themselves from reality, and she just pretended.
Kim.
She pretended as if he wasn't the monster that he is.
Okay,
Like
here's
Lil'
the question. Have you noticed the answers in her question? Instead of saying that bitch is crazy, it was an excuse for what she did.
It's not an excuse. I said crazy. I said crazy. You know I said it. You know I said it.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question,
Right?
Mella.
You know what? You are a jerk.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Mella, you did actually.
I mean, I am. Listen. Matter of fact, here. Wait a minute. Here, Roger. Let me go ahead and send you the video. I'm gonna show you how much of it. I said I wasn't gonna show it. I'm gonna show you how much of a jerk I am. You can go ahead and play it.
And Mella, you
There you
did
go.
the least important part of what was being said. I'm just saying.
I said crazy. He just lied and said that I didn't say it. He's lying.
No, I'm talking about
only a jerk lies.
No, I'm talking about when you point out the fact of the surgery versus what the fact that she's married to a sex offender, like that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say that. I said that a person
I know you didn't say it. That's why I brought it up.
A person.
You didn't hear what I said.
Let her finish. Let her finish.
I already said what I said about Nicki Minaj being disassociated with reality. I already said it.
No,
she does not realize that it's crazy to marry a sex offender. She doesn't realize that.
Yes, she does.
Everyone on do.
Yes, she does.
Yeah,
yeah, she
and
does.
what's so bad is
you don't
have a child.
She's on record for defending this.
You don't get to where she is as far as entertainment and make that much money and being crazy.
Nicki Minaj looks in the mirror and she sees someone different than what she actually
she knows
is.
What she's doing,
and she thinks she's oblivious to reality.
No, she's not.
No, she don't.
Right.
She don't.
She knows what she's doing.
Well, I say she pretended like her husband isn't the monster that he is. Therefore, she's crazy.
He went to prison for it.
Excuse, right? He went for raping a girl at knife point.
Yeah.
On top of that, Roger, I sent you the video.
But I did say she's crazy, Judge Dre. I did say she's crazy,
after
Dre.
your 4 paragraphs, after you put people to sleep with the story,
yeah, right.
Roger,
you know better.
The thing is, he's just like her. So that tells you what she's like. She don't care.
Miss Mia, you gonna answer my question? You still ain't answering my question.
You got to repeat the question. She probably.
What is this?
I
know I am because I know she didn't.
What is it, son?
About the abortion thing. About the abortion thing. What is it, sir?
Yeah, I have not had one. Please ask the question. Thank you.
Why is it so easy for women to just have an abortion? And the statistics of why women have abortions in reference to the men. Why is it so easy for women to have an abortion, but when it comes to the men, it's a problem?
If having an abortion, what are you talking about?
They're
or just walking
immoral.
away from the kids.
They're
being able
Im-
to separate themselves
im-
as easily as.
they're immoral.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's your answer?
Okay.
No, I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking. Is that your answer?
I love Bella's answers. Matter of fact, we gonna get you as a writer for Trump or any politician. They should hire you from all of your
They're
So
channels.
immoral.
so that's their reason.
They're immoral.
So 90%, damn near 90% of women, because they're immoral.
They have no virtue. They're immoral.
90% of women,
Yes.
damn near. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. That's all I got to ask them.
Wow, that is just cold.
Mhm.
Wait a minute. I was listening to Judge video, but if we just came to the conclusion that 90% of black women have no morality, like, is
So
that a big deal? Like,
so you telling me 90% of women who just having sex don't care. They just having sex with no protection or anything. They just have an abortion because they just don't want to have a baby. That's what you're telling me.
Using abortion as birth control.
Okay. This is
they do
the
that.
first.
There
Yeah,
you
they do
go.
that.
There you go, BGS.
How
There you go,
many
BGS.
times? What did BGS just say? I didn't hear him.
I said black women use abortion as birth control.
That's what I
Oh,
was getting at.
absolutely, absolutely. It's
As long as
immoral.
they don't have to pay for it.
It's immoral and without virtue.
Wow, did Mela give an answer in under 5 seconds? Write that down, guys. What time is it? Today is 3:23 at 2:13 a.m. Mela gave
Fellas,
an
she just
answer in under
answered
5 seconds
my
and
question.
directly answered the question.
Fellas,
Woo!
she just answered my
Oh
question.
Okay.
shit,
Mela, you
Mela,
all right?
what's the cash at? Where's your cash at, Mela? We gotta send Mela some money. She answered the question.
Yeah.
Everybody send her $1.
All right, guys.
done.
It's been about 3 hours, 10 minutes. We're gonna get final thoughts, and then I'm about to shut this shit down.
Yeah,
So, who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go first. I guess this has been the Miller Show, huh? Ask Miller Show. Anyway, y'all, I'll check y'all later. Peace.
All right, BGS.
All right, BGS.
Holler at you later, man.
I'm right behind him. Peace and good night. Thank you so much.
All
It's
right,
been a
Miss Mel.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay. Peace.
Thank you, Mela, for answering the question in under 5 seconds. We appreciate it. Everybody's gonna just step off because we want everybody to be able to track that
Okay,
down.
fellas.
Bye.
Okay, fellas. What are our final thoughts on tonight's show? The topic, anything discussed?
Well, son, you first.
Oh no, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, you guys have been great, man. And as you can see, you know, we see where we stand. You know, we just got to keep trying, and that's why we keep having these discussions and keep having them. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Y'all stay up.
All right, you two take it easy.
Yeah, let me respond to somebody in my final thoughts. Ty City, you've said that 2 or 3 times. The manosphere is a joke. I can assure you, despite what the manosphere represents, or or any of these broken down factions within this part of YouTube, I can guarantee the habitual Linesteppers aren't a joke. Now, for those of you who thought that that I kept Mela on too long, shit, sometimes you just kind of gotta let people expose themselves. It's not ulterior motive on my part, but I mean, it's like with someone conducting themselves like that, they let you know exactly who they are, and they make their case. They make our case for us. I mean, I don't know if people agree or disagree, but that's just kind of how I see it. I mean, but to disrupt the conversation, that does make it counterproductive. And we want to separate ourselves from all that other little stuff too, all that little ratchetness and that little trouble. And, things that basically make these conversations look like a joke. So, I can guarantee you that that's never my intention to ever look like a joke on any of these platforms. And I don't feel like that, I don't think that I don't think we're a joke. I don't think anybody that joined this panel, maybe except Mela somewhat dancing around questions. And I gotta admit that I don't like that either. I don't like, and also what I tried to say earlier, I don't like the framing that, we that made it sound like Roger was trying to condone killing women. It just is that wasn't what he was saying, and I really don't like when people do that just to like kind of derail the conversation and make the conversation look like that we were speaking in terms of harming people. So clearly, to me, that was not Roger's intention. So I just wanted to kind of clean that up a little bit. Um, Roger, anything to say on that?
No, I mean, black men's three main jobs, like I always say, is to lead, protect, and provide. Yeah, so killing should
Mm-hmm.
only come if it's necessary. It should be
Yeah,
taken lightly.
and as far as black men accountability, it just seems like to me every time I look at something, whether it's on TV or on social media, black men are being held accountable. So to sit up there and say that black men aren't held accountable is an awful straw man. Is an awful straw man argument. Is just only said to derail conversations, and there's nobody out there that can prove to me that black men aren't held accountable or aren't held accountable enough. Now, if you take the angle of the sisters and say that, are we holding them accountable enough? I'm gonna give you a resounding hell no. And you can see that, and you can see that throughout many different aspects of our society. So I'll just say overall in the aspect of accountability in the black community that we do have to do better, and that's for our sakes and our children's sake as well. So anybody agree or disagree with that?
Nah, I'm with it. We got to do what it takes to protect our kids, and because if we don't, they're gonna grow up in a worse situation than what we did.
But this one
Okay.
thing I will say this, I think that too, we have to be more firm on the like when a question is answered instead of long drawn out stories. 'Cause I hate to say, sometimes you can't get a simple answered question answered, and then that you spend 40, 50 minutes of a show, of a 3 hour show, just trying to get one question answered. Then you wonder why you ain't making no progress. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. If we're gonna have look, if you could, you can go do your story, answer the question first. You're not going to answer the question first and just take your story somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
mean,
and
because I
and
mean, and
plus
this
the
is the
fact.
problem. The audience doesn't like that because I look. Listen, 'cause I'm not going to lie. If you watch the numbers every time when you go watch the numbers of the show, when it takes somebody 15 minutes to answer what it should be a yes or no, and you watch the
I'm
numbers,
I'm I'm
people
I'm
get tired of that.
yeah, I'm complete. Yeah. I'm analytical as to what drives the show and what takes viewership away from the show. So I'll take that under consideration. Just to be considerate of an audience that could be doing many other things, but they
Right?
decided to
Then
tune
listening to the
in.
show. Right.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Right.
And I am absolutely grateful to the audience that does participate. And I am absolutely grateful to the subscribers that I have. And, just not just with my channel, but with the other habitual Linesteppers channels as well. We want to bring you the absolute best. We feel that we're the absolute best. Even if people out there can't see it right now, they will see it. And it will, and we feel like they will see it before the year 2020 is out, before the summer, because a lot of these people, and I got to give the brother props. A lot of these people, they feeling you, Roger. They feeling you for real.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Roger's a breakout, and that's a guy that I'm glad to have on our team. So, Judge has been around us for a long time too. So we appreciate when Judge stops by. And
I don't always
son,
get your
thanks for showing up
notifications.
once again. You're welcome at
Yes,
any
sir.
time.
Yes, sir, brother.
Uh,
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for having me.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Cool. 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 Also, one more thing. I took the time to look at my block list on my channel, and someone blocked a particular guy, Man Code TV. I'm sure it was a reason behind that, but I don't like to not it, but he wasn't blocked during one of the live streams, so that means somebody went back in and blocked him. So if anyone like wants to contact me via email, I'll put the email in the description, and tell me why that happened. Feel free. I'm usually an understanding guy, but I don't want mods to just go back into chats and conversations. Maybe something happened on another channel, but just kind of be careful with that. Let me know. Let me know what's going on, because I would really hate to unmake a mod. Like I really would hate people I make moderators. It took some thought, and I see how they behave on the channel, and nobody likes to be wrong about anyone. No one likes it. So just like if you're blocking someone and I don't know anything about it, just hit me up on the email, kevester67129 at gmail.com. And like I said, I'm usually an understanding guy when it comes to stuff like that. But just don't go just blocking folks, especially if they are very interactive with the chats and the conversations and are considerate enough to, tune in and help us get these numbers up and help get our names out there. So that's it. I'm not gonna act like a megalomaniac, or some kind of guy that just bashes you over the head like Negan. Well, at least not yet. But but anyway, that's it for the show.
Whoa, brother! I didn't get my final thoughts. What kind of
Oh, you didn't? Oh my
what
God!
kind of
Break
crap you
out.
on?
No, go ahead, Roger.
Okay, boy, I'm finna say. Well, shout out to Ty City. He just subscribed to the show, so shout out to you, Ty City. I'm gonna say shout out to Cocaine Kills, because we don't have a whole slew of women that come to mind when I think about the women of social media that's being supportive to the brothers. So shout out to Cocaine Kills, and shout out to Rain and Women that was here earlier. I definitely appreciate the women that are supportive to the men's message, and for us to actually be real men and lead our community. And just want to say, long live the habitual line steppers. Point blank, period. It is what it is.
Yes.
Stay on after
And
the show, Kevin Roger.
yeah, I got you. We got you. But I'm about to end the broadcast right now. Thanks for tuning in. Had felt like we had a good chat. A lot of the time in this broadcast. And thank you to the viewing audience. Okay, tune in next Sunday. Have another great topic going around this time. Well, not around this time specifically, but about 3 hours, 4 hours earlier than that. But absolutely, cocaine kills. This is Kev. This is Black Men Being Brutally Honest. Thanks to the panel and chat. Long live the habitual line steppers, and Kev we trust. Goodbye.